Stand up! New York Giant fans, back for our second episode of this season of Talking Giants. We're going to have about another 30, throughout the season and leading up into the draft. But we're back on my channel. Baddog, what's going on?
What's up, my man? How we doing? Yeah, this is our fifth season, I believe. Well, we started in the middle of 2018, but you had 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5 years. So
5 years. 5 years of having
5 years of charm.
5 years of having a great time, but talking about a horrible product. Hopefully that's
correct. 5 years of charm. Right, 5 years of charm.
But let's say hello to a couple people in the chat. We got Jack Sports in the chat, Jay Dimes in the chat, Joey Musa in the chat. Big Jets fan, man. What's going on, man? I'm sure you're
Musa. That's a name from the past.
He's an OG, man. He's an OG for sure.
He is.
And formerly old Deviant Afghanistan. Bill M, man, always in the chat. Zany, NFL experts. Alex, man, thank you so much for being here. Joe Shane Train, Joey Mooney, Sean Torres. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Saturday night. We finally concluded our first week of training camp. 4 days in. Yet to put the pads on. That's going to be, I think, on Monday will be the first day. I'm going to be there Tuesday, so I'll be there for the second day of
no filming.
No filming. But I'm excited nevertheless.
That was a good one.
I had a lot of fun, though, when I went. I got an opportunity to talk to a lot of Giants fans. I'm not going to read too much into it, but we'll talk about some of the things that have transpired so far in training camp. The standout that you keep hearing about, Bad Dog, is Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes now has created 4 turnovers, 1 turnover each day. So every day so far in training camp, I think he's got 3 picks. And today he had the forced fumble against Saquon Barkley. So he's a guy that hopefully is showing some encouraging signs, being that we know how thin we are in that secondary. He's supposed to be penciled in as the nickel cornerback. So far, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, and that's, that obviously was the big question mark on the defense going in this year is what is the secondary going to look like? I also heard McKinney's got a lot of confidence in hearing that it could be his defense. I mean, when Blake Martinez wasn't on the field, it was McKinney, calling the plays and setting up the defense. But yes, obviously, Darnay Holmes stepping up would be huge for us because losing James Bradbury certainly hurt. And, we got Dane Belton from Iowa back there and Adoree Jackson and just, Xavier McKinney. But there's a lot of questions as far as depth goes. And obviously, Aaron Robinson, he's back there. We would like to see more of him a little bit. But we do need a standout in that secondary, maybe outside of McKinney. So, yeah, it's encouraging to see Darnay Holmes playing as well as he is. And hopefully this is a thing where, he just flourishes in Wink Martindale's system. Like this is made for him. And, hopefully that continues and we can force some turnovers in the regular season because we're going to need some turnovers. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Turnovers always win or lose football games. I mean, you win the turnover battle, you have a much better chance of winning the game than if you're losing the turnover battle. So hopefully Darnay Holmes continues to impress and improve in training camp.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to get to the second topic of conversation because my second super chat, JD Sports Talk, brought up the Pat Leonard thing. So we'll get to that in a minute, JD. The other thing, though, that I wanted to touch on, though, before we dive into that topic, and I'm going to get to King Trizzy super chat in a second. The thing that has really stood out to me so far, in terms of just watching the highlights, not just like looking at it in terms of like judging individual players, is the difference in offensive philosophy. This scheme is night and day, at least so far from what we've seen. And I know you're not going to read too much into it. The pads aren't on yet. We haven't played any preseason games, but it just looks so much more innovative. You see all the pre-snap motion, even on the fumble play today. I don't know if you got to see some of the highlights, but on the fumble play today where Darnay Holmes was able to strip it from Saquon Barkley, I made note of the play design. You see Saquon Barkley going in motion. You got the running back to the right. He pitches it. It just looks completely different. It looks like a more modern offense. And it really screams Kansas City Chiefs to me. Not that we have the personnel to do what they did, but in terms of the type of offense. And Wandel Robinson just keeps popping off the page. Yes. Anytime I see a highlight of this guy, he scored a touchdown today where Daniel Jones threw it, made a great double move. He seems to be the type of guy that could have a much bigger role than I thought he would on draft night, his first year.
Definitely. And again, when we cover the draft, Wandel Robinson was a head scratcher. You and I had a lot of different players that they could have taken there, and a lot of people were upset about the pick. And I get pissed. I wasn't mad at that. I just said we got to kind of see what he is and why they chose him. Maybe he fits the system. And when you have a lot of pre-snap motion and you got a lot of wide open field out there, or you want to spread the offense, he's definitely a guy that's looked really sharp. And what I like about pre-snap motion, I think that'll pay off in the red zone. I mean, this is where I think this could really work when you got all kinds of receivers in motion, players, misdirection and all that stuff. It's hard for a defense to kind of react, when you're down there, because plays happen really fast. It'd be a lot better if we're just, like I said, if we're just throwing the ball, just acting, and they have to react. I think that'll be good. But Wandel Robinson could be a guy that's very dangerous down there in the red zone, opposite of Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay. Like, if you're going to see a spread formation down inside the 10-yard line, I think that's where he could really flourish. Kind of like what I thought Sterling Shepard would be when we drafted him. I didn't think Sterling Shepard was going to catch 80 passes for 1,500 yards and be a deep threat, but I did think he'd be really effective in the red zone. Unfortunately, he's dealt with a lot of injuries over the course of his career, but I do think that Wandel Robinson could be the guy that they thought Sterling Shepard would be, as long as he continues to improve. And, that's all we can go by right now is the way they've performed. He's done well, and that's encouraging.
I've been excited for Tony too. Tony's
been great.
He's really happy to be there. He's really excited. You could see it. So that's a great sign as well. Of course, a lot of us were kind of I don't want to use the word worried, but something, at least somewhat disappointed that he didn't show up initially to, I think it was the second straight year to voluntary camp, but he's looked really good too. And I think he's going to fit this offense really well. So those two wide receivers, not that I'm, saying they're going to be Odell Beckham or anything like that, but I think they fit this scheme really well. And I think they're going to be used a lot this year for the New York Giants. Golladay, we'll see. I'm really interested to see how they try to involve him in this offense. Darius Slayton continues to have bad drop problems. He's struggling. But let's get to a couple of these. King Trizzy says, checking in from work. Let's go Giants. Good to see you, King Trizzy, man. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your shift. Before I get to JD, just going to read this member chat before I lose it. MYB, man, thank you for being a member for 18 months. My guy, Chris and Baddog, back at it. Super Bowl this year. He always brings a positivity. What's going on, man?
Yes. The greatest thing ever, man. It would be awesome.
But JD asked the question of the night. Well, I think it's going to be a hot topic. It was a hot topic all over Twitter. He says, grade Pat Leonard's training camp performance. And, of course, what he's asking about is the article that he came out 3 practices in which I don't want to say that he called for Daniel Jones's head, but he kind of hinted that he thinks the Giants should contemplate potentially, if things don't improve quickly in practice, removing Daniel Jones and putting Tyrod Taylor in as the starting quarterback. I'll start. I'll let you finish. I mean, you guys know what I think. The first thing I said is Pat Leonard sucks as soon as I saw that article come out. The way I look at it is, yes, Daniel Jones is going to have his feet on the fire this year. He's going to have a lot more pressure than he's had in the past for the simple reason it's year 4. He doesn't have the 5th-year extension. And the most important fact, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll had nothing to do with Daniel Jones being on this New York Giants football team. So we know he's going to have to perform and stay healthy this year in order to retain his job going into 2023. However, all that being said, to come out with that statement in that article 3 practices in for a New York Giants football team that has not put the pads on yet, they're running a new scheme, and day 3 of practice, it was all 3rd and 9 drills, which puts the offense at a big disadvantage.
Yes.
So factoring all that in, for him to come out and already turn on the pressure cooker, to me, it was clear clickbait, and he was a guy that was trying to stir up drama and draw clicks to his article. But that's what Pat Leonard has been since he's been covering the New York Giants. So I'm not surprised by it, but I'm giving him an F. But Bando, go ahead.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not going to give him an F, but if Daniel Jones his performance has been uneven, and that, listen, I did a video on this today about Daniel Jones's performance, and I always kind of giggle at some of the comments because I know they don't watch the entire video.
Right.
I mentioned, maybe Daniel Jones will figure this out in 2 weeks. Maybe he'll be really good in the regular season. We ain't got to worry about it. When I talk about things on this channel, I don't say things to please people. I say what I'm thinking. I talk about what has happened so far, and so far it's been uneven. Now we can talk about, hey, it's a new system, and I have mentioned a number of times Daniel Jones has been put in a horrible situation, and I know that it's a new system. My problem with Daniel Jones, Chris, and I told you just before he went live, it is still his hesitancy in the pocket. It is still that he's like a deer in the headlights, or he'll stare that receiver down. He just doesn't react his pocket. To me, that's not a system thing. That's a Daniel Jones thing. That is what Daniel Jones can throw the ball. Daniel Jones physically can do this. My question is, can he do it mentally? Now, as far as Pat Leonard goes, yeah, I'm not happy with the way Daniel Jones has played the first few days, and I want him to get better, and I want him to improve, and I want him to pick this up, and I want him to give me a reason to be confident in him. I want to see some improvement. I don't give a damn if it's the first day in training camp, because we've been talking about the same thing with Daniel Jones for 3 years now.
Right.
However, I'll be damned if I'm going to come out here at this point and say Tyrod Taylor should start, because that's hogwash. Okay. There is no way Tyrod Taylor should start. The only way Tyrod Taylor is starting for the Giants, in my opinion, Chris, there's two things. Number one, Daniel Jones gets hurt.
Right.
Okay. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Number two, we're 4-10 and we got 3 games to play, and they just say to hell with this. We're not.
Yeah, and in
both
scenarios,
that's it. Yeah, I'm not looking. Oh,
the season's over.
Right. I'm not ready to unseat Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback. I know some people watch my videos go, "Oh, he thinks Tyrod Taylor." I absolutely do not think Tyrod Taylor should start anytime soon. And like Lester said, he has to start because Jones is hurt, or because the Giants are already out of it. That part of Pat Leonard's article was BS. There's no way Tyrod Taylor.
And he even hinted at the fact that we should consider trading for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's just where did that come from?
It's just a way to draw clicks. Jimmy Garoppolo will not be a New York Giant. It's ridiculous.
What I don't understand is this. Why would they bring him in? No cap space. The dude's 30 years old. We're obviously 32. In the middle of a rebuild. What's that?
32.
32. Okay, so I shortchanged him. So he's 32. He makes a ton of money. And he's not great. I mean, he's not awful. He's middle of the pack, maybe a little below average, in my opinion. What the hell would we bring in a 32-year-old quarterback making a ton of money in the middle of a rebuild when we won 22 games in 5 years? As I said before, if we were 10-7 or 11-6 last year, and the whole reason that we didn't go farther in playoffs because of Daniel Jones, then maybe you consider it. If you think that he's the guy that wins your Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo is not winning us a Super Bowl. No. Jimmy Garoppolo ain't winning anybody a Super Bowl.
Well, so, he almost did with the 49ers, but we don't got that here.
But almost.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
You couldn't win it with that team. So,
yeah.
The Garoppolo thing is really the Garoppolo thing is more nonsensical than Tyrod Taylor starting.
Well, Taylor's on the team, so yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Let's get to a couple of these. Dre, man, thank you very much. Kayvon interview impressive. New actions follow. Yeah, I didn't watch all of it. I saw a couple of clips on Twitter of Kayvon Thibodeau's interviews today. And yeah, for the most part, it was getting glowing reviews. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it, Dre, though. But I'm excited to see Kayvon once they put the pads on. And I'm even more excited to see Kayvon once we get into preseason. Because then I think you're going to get a better idea of, what this guy could potentially bring to the table. The other thing that I saw today, and this is just me looking at the highlights and so on and so forth, and by no means am I panicking at all. Evan Neal looked like he was getting beat maybe 3-4 times. One time by O'Shea Zimenez pretty bad, and Zimenez nearly hurt our quarterback. But again, I expect that. Rookie right tackle, but I just want to make note of that. At least some of the clips that I saw today. King Trizzy, man, thank you very much. Oh, so go ahead, Ben.
No, I was just going to say it's going to be interesting. And like you, I'm waiting for the preseason games because I don't think that Dable is going to play our starters one quarter the entire preseason like Judge did last year. So
yeah,
I think these rookies need to play. And you could say, well, you don't want them to get injured. I mean, you can get injured the first play of the regular season and miss the entire season. But look what happened to Saquon Barkley. Here it is, tore his ACL the second week against the Bears. If it happens, it happens. You can't sit there and go, God, I'm scared of my guys getting hurt in preseason, especially the rookies. I feel like they need the game. They need to know the game speed. They got to get a good look. Not that you're going to see the entire playbook for these teams. You're going to see a vanilla playbook, but at the same time, you're getting NFL speed. You're getting, you're going against an opposition where you're actually allowed to smash the hell out of the guy, and that's what you want to do. So you get to actually play football. I think the rookies need it more than anybody else.
Yeah, I agree. And we're such a young team. I definitely expect, and the fact that they're learning different offenses and defenses on both sides.
Yeah,
I think they're going to get some time. I don't expect, and it's only 3 games. So I would think even in the first game, you're going to see Daniel Jones at least probably for a quarter. Like
I would hope so.
I would hope. Yeah, they're going to give him some time to get acclimated to the offense.
Yep.
King Trizzy, man, thank you very much, man. I've been on the darn A train, so glad he's been good. Hey, so far, so good. You know, and I want to say hello to Matthew G. That's Fef, man. What's going on, man? Good to see you, buddy. But so far, so good, man. But again, much like we're saying, don't get too discouraged with some of the poor performances. Don't get too hyped with some of the great performances. It's training camp, but off to a good start, which is encouraging. Jake, man, thank you very much. Hey, Baddog, did you ever order that jersey?
No, I did that video. I just got home literally. Whenever you texted me, I was really just walking in the door. So I've been home all day.
What jersey?
But I just got home. So yeah, I'm gonna buy a McKinney jersey.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I've been talking about that for a while. So yeah, I did a little thing of the in-laws today. But I don't know if I mentioned on the video, I got like 3 birthdays this year. I felt like a superstar. You know, I had my regular birthday. I celebrated with my wife the one night, and then today I went to the in-laws and did the birthday thing. So, you know, I get a little birthday cash. I'm gonna buy a McKinney jersey.
There you go. Can't go wrong with that.
No.
That's probably outside of the lineman. I would say Andrew Thomas might be the safest, but most people don't buy lineman jerseys. I would say that's probably the safest jersey to get right now.
I just like the secondary. I've always been a secondary guy. So.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Manny, man, thank you very much. Baddog and Tana. Oh, yeah. Again and again, helped me get through the night in the hospital with my 3-year-old son. He's okay, but there's some sick kids here. Puts things in perspective, man.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure, man. I hope everything works out for you, your son, and all the kids that are there, man. But thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully
absolutely, man. There's nothing more heartbreaking than having to bring your kid to a doctor hospital. I mean, there's no, but as a parent, you don't ever want your kid to experience any kind of pain, any kind of sadness. You want to protect them from everything. Obviously, that can't happen, but hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah, man. But thank you so much for tuning in, man. We appreciate the support. Joey says, "What's up, guys? Love the show. Wandel is so damn shifty." That's the word that I use. I put it in capital letters in my tweet today. That's the first word that comes to mind when I watched him when I went live, and specifically in that clip today, man. It was nasty. Put a nasty double move. And I was actually talking to, I forgot who it was. I think it was JD Sports, we were talking on Twitter, and it was a Tyreek Hill-esque type of route that you saw in Kansas City, down by the goal line. So it was really shifty. It was really cool to see that. Yeah, man, I'm really excited to see how they involve Wandel Robinson in this offense this year. So shifty and quick. He looked like a smaller and quicker Sterling Shepard today on that touchdown. Let's blank and go. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. I would agree with that. I think I don't know if he's faster. I don't know what his 40 time is in relation to Shepard, but he just seems quicker. I agree with that, Joe. He's shiftier.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, right at the beginning of the stream, I'm hoping that, that he ends up being what we thought Sterling Shepard would be, especially down by the goal line, where his shiftiness is certainly going to help him get open. Because obviously, when you get closer to the goal line, the defense gets more compact. There's less room to operate. But if you got a shifty receiver that can get off the line and make moves like that, it's certainly going to pay off.
And the man's Deadly Dash, he says, "Bad Dog, you're welcome. The Reds beating the Orioles tonight." You didn't need that, but it always helps.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Dash, I appreciate it. Beat the hell out of everybody in the AL East.
I think you guys are pretty good.
Aaron Judge is pretty good.
Aaron Judge is going to win the MVP.
Aaron Judge is pretty good.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I had to tweet about it. When I saw the home run today, I'm like, how did this? He's got 42 home runs. I very rarely tweet about the Yankees, but I'm like,
yeah, I saw. I
got to give the guy
I want to say, even Mets fans know that Judge is the man.
I had to show him. He's been incredible this year, man.
Game winner in game 1, home run today, 6 RBIs last night, 4 homers in this series. People can say, oh,
when's the last time a Yankee? We might have talked about this last time, but I forgot. When's the last time a Yankee won the MVP?
It's got to be 07. It had to be A-Rod.
A-Rod, okay. So it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win it. It's either him or the guy on the Astros, Jordan. What's his name? But I think it'll be Judge.
Yeah.
Paul Ellis, man, thank you very much. Missed you all. Glad you're back, man. Glad to see you here, man.
Glad to be back, baby. We're glad to be back.
And Colin Cunningham says, "I feel much better about our direction. Shane and Dable are in lockstep. Never felt that with Gettleman and the past coaches." Yeah, I mean, again, Colin, I'm trying not to get too over the top excited, but I agree in the sense of what you just said, in the sense that, and I've talked about this before, when Gettleman took the job, you didn't know what the hell they were doing. There wasn't really a plan.
Right.
And it feels like there was a plan with Joe Shane. When Gettleman took the job, they were trying to do 2 things at once. 2019, we finally felt like there was a plan, but they were cleaning up the mistakes they had already made in their first season. Shane's coming in. wiping the slate clean. He says, this is my direction. This is the way we're going. And it doesn't feel like he's pushing all his chips to the middle, kind of like Gettleman did in 2018 when they tried to get the most out of Eli Manning late in his career. He's saying, no, we're not going to extend Daniel Jones. He's got to prove himself. We're building long-term with the line. He let several veterans go that he didn't like the contracts, Evan Ingram, so on and so forth. So I really do agree in the sense that there is a direction. There is a plan. The question is, will that plan work? But it does feel much differently than when Gettleman initially took the job.
I think it also helps that they came from the same organization. So,
and they're outsiders. Which
you're right. And they're used to one another. And I think that they know what each other is looking for. I think that certainly helps. I mean, it's kind of like if you went to a new school, but you brought your best friend along with you, you'd be a lot more comfortable. The other thing I like, and you mentioned earlier, Chris, is we look like we're more modern offense. We're not so much that relic offense that we've been, I equate it to station baseball instead of getting runners in motion, hitting and running on all that stuff, trying to get people moving all around the infield to open up holes. It's kind of what you got with all the pre-snap motion. You're trying to get the defenders, like I said, on their heels, getting them to react. And that way it opens up holes in the secondary. So, yeah, much more modern offense.
And I think we're going to appreciate, and again, you can't really get any grasp on the defense yet because you're not hitting the quarterback.
Right.
But I think I don't know if it's going to be more effective. That remains to be seen. But I think we're going to enjoy this year's defense.
It'll be more aggressive. It won't be boring.
Yeah, in terms of their philosophy.
Yeah, we'll be taking big swings on defense.
Just got to hope that it's not like Joey Votto and we swing and miss. Like not Joey Votto, rather.
Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo, and we don't.
Yeah, he does that a lot. Yeah. Let's hope it's not Gallo-esque.
Yeah.
Bill, like Judge though, Judge will strike out, but the damn guy obviously. So let's have an Aaron Judge or Pete Alonso type defense. Let's get one of that
for sure, man.
Bill,
man, thank you. Bill's the man. He says, "Good to see you boys. Always appreciate your content. Thoughts on the offensive line? Love our bookends, but worried about the rest." Yeah, well, you saw just how thin our offensive line is. With the third practice, Feliciano got hurt. I don't remember who stepped in as the first team.
Well, he might not have been the.
I don't remember who it was. I don't remember. But either way, whoever stepped in
there, we know how bad he is. Anyway.
Was getting cooked. Start to finish of the practice. I think Lemieux got some reps as well today.
Yeah, he got in a fight today, as far as I know.
Maybe. But regardless,
Dexter Lawrence plowed him over. I think it was Lemieux.
It just shows you how thin we are on the interior part of that offensive line. But even when we're not thin, yeah, I agree. It's certainly worrisome. But what I will say, Bill, and I think it'll be a little bit of a learning curve. I don't think Evan Neal's just going to step in and be great. I do think he will mature and get better throughout this year. And I do think he's going to be a great right tackle for the New York Giants. If we get the tackle settled, I think it's going to make the interior offensive line much better. If you have two great tackles, we saw with Andrew Thomas last year. I always say this. The first 4 weeks of last season, we had Andrew Thomas and a bunch of stiffs. Yep. But our offensive line was at least okay. I'm not saying we were okay. And
it's better than we thought it would be.
And I think it had to do with Andrew Thomas because the Giants were putting Andrew Thomas out on an island and they were letting everybody, help one another at the other positions for the most part. If you have another good tackle on the other end, I think you could get by with a mediocre interior group. I'm not saying I want it to stay that way. I want it to improve over the course of the next 3-4 years. But having two bookend tackles goes a long way towards having at least a adequate offensive line. And that's what I expect this year. I expect us to be around league average in terms of an offensive line. It may take a couple of weeks, but I do think we'll have at least close to a league average offensive line, provided we stay relatively healthy. But I think our tackles are going to be top-notch long-term. I think we're in really good shape there. But, yeah, we need to continue to improve the interior.
The offensive line, the interior offensive line is as thin as my hairline, which isn't good. But like you said, average, I think PFF ranked us 18th to start the year. And, again, you can take PFF however you like to. But PFF has rated the Giants near the bottom of the league every year, rightfully so, because we have been a bottom-tier offensive line. But the fact that PFF thought highly enough to give the Giants rank 18th before the season started says that Evan Neal obviously made a huge difference. And, Shane did what he could with the money that he had to spend to try to make it a little bit better. But it always takes a while for an offensive line to mesh because these guys got to work off of one another and you can't just throw them all together. It's pretty much all new outside of Andrew Thomas. Shane Lemieux obviously has been there before. Hopefully Nick Gates gets back. I don't really know what his situation is. But, the depth definitely is concerning. with the offensive line. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to watch your video, but I did see the title. And in it, you talked about the fight today.
Yes.
It was Lemieux and Dexter Lawrence.
Yes, Dexter kicked his ass.
Did he kick his
ass?
I
mean, off the line. I don't know who won the fight. I do think Dexter Lawrence ended up at the top, but Dexter Lawrence blew him up and made Lemieux mad. And I think that's good.
I like seeing a little animosity with the offense.
Yeah, you're going to have that. I did mention that Dable did not have them run laps.
Yeah.
Which is good because last year they had a big brawl last year. And the judge made him run till they passed out or whatever the hell he did. But listen, that's like I said, the guys are miserable. Training camp is hard. It's hot as hell. You don't want to be there. You get blown up in a play, you get embarrassed. But you like to see that competitive edge. You're not going to walk all over me. You don't want to get in fights every day. You're finding me a training camp that don't have one fight in it.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have more, especially
yeah. You know what I mean? That's part of it.
Yeah, man.
Guys are competitive. They're ultra competitive.
For sure. Chris says, Ooga Booga. Did you hear about the Jimmy G rumors? I mean, people have been talking about Jimmy G rumors now for the last 2 months. I did see some random tweet today on Twitter from some 49er guy with a check mark. It's not happening. It's not happening. We're not trading for Jimmy Garoppolo.
How can we afford him?
He makes $25 million against the cap. The only way it would even be possible is he'd have to be cut. That's the only way that it would even be possible. And the Giants still aren't getting him. I'm telling you right now, we're not signing him. But that's the only way it becomes possible. We're not trading for the guy. And like Bad Dog said earlier, it doesn't make much sense. You're talking about a team that's rebuilding. You're going to trade for a 32-year-old quarterback for what?
Yeah.
For what? He's a free agent next year. For what?
Right.
So to me, it never made any sense to me. They've said from the start here. One thing I'll tell you right now, Bad Dog, people could say what Gettleman did not always tell the truth. Did not.
No.
And we're still getting a feel for Joe Schoen. But what I will say about Joe Schoen is since he has taken this job, what he has said, he has done for the most part. He said he was going to attack the offensive line. He signed 5 of them in free agency.
Yep.
He drafted 3. He said he was going to do his best not to backload salaries. That's exactly what he did. And he has said from the beginning, Daniel Jones is our quarterback. Daniel Jones is our starting quarterback. He's also said when we signed Tyrod Taylor, we told him he was the backup.
Yep.
So I don't know how much fans need to hear that don't want to believe that Daniel Jones is going to be the starter for 2022. I believe Joe Schoen. Daniel Jones is going to be the starter. We are not trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, and Tyrod Taylor will not be seeing the field unless, like you said, Daniel Jones goes down with an injury, or maybe by week 11 or 12, he's doing so bad.
Yeah, we're out of contention. It doesn't even matter.
Other than that, Dan Jones is going to be a quarterback.
I agree.
He's going to be a quarterback.
Yep, agreed. There's no doubt about it. It's a prove a year for Daniel Jones. Why would the Giants? I mean, listen, I give Daniel Jones a hard time, and I feel like I give him a hard time with good reason. I don't do it just to do it. If he plays well, I certainly say he plays well. If Daniel Jones goes out and throws 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, I'm not going to harp on the interception. That's not. I know some people think that's all I do, but it's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But Daniel Jones has to go out there and prove it. But I still think he gives us a better chance to win than Tyrod Taylor does. Yeah. So he has to play well. But yeah, Tyrod Taylor is not starting for the Giants, and Jimmy Garoppolo is not starting for the Giants either.
Yeah, it'll be Jones. Jones is going to be your starting quarterback.
Jones is going to be the guy until he's not the guy.
And NY Giants 26 says, watching my hype up before FanFest. Can't wait. Yeah, man, I watched it. It was great. I'm probably going to play it the night before the season starts like I did last year with the hype video. But NY Giants 26, man, thank you so much for being such a great supporter. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at FanFest, man. That's in 5 days or whatever it is. So should be a lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward to getting back there. I'm actually going to be back there on Tuesday. And then I think FanFest is about 3 days after that. I think it's on a Friday. So I'll be there for both of those days. So really looking forward to it. And Bobby, Beantown Breakdown, man. What's going on, man? My 2 favorite paisanos. Feeling good tonight. Cheers, boys. Tana, you the man. And Bad Dog, blank the Yankees. Only 1% of leukemia. What's going on, Bobby? I'm going to tell you what, Bobby. I know you're a huge Red Sox fan, obviously, which is why you said blank the Yankees.
He loves the Yankees.
Give me JD Martinez. I want JD Martinez, man. I hope you guys fall out of it. Trade us JD. Be the perfect spot, perfect 5-hole hitter for the New York Mets. We'll give you a couple of good prospects. Let's get it done.
Bobby, I'm glad to hear that most of the leukemia is gone. That's awesome news,
Yeah,
brother.
for sure, man.
You know, I love you. You're good people, but blank the Red Sox. Buck Foston, always, every day. I say that with a smile. We're 69-33. It's nice to look down and see you guys basement dwelling. I can't say it hurts my feelings. The amazing thing is you're still a 500 team and you're right around the basement. The AL East is absolutely stacked. You guys have done pretty well outside of the division, but you've gotten killed in this division. But yeah, give us a chance, Bob. You guys have won, what, 4 titles in the last 18 years? We won 1 in the last 22. It's time to even it out again. You've had your fun. Now it's time for me to have my fun again.
John, what's going on, man? Stella and stand up. Guys, a throwback question for y'all. If Brahman would have kept the D like White, Brown, and Buddy in the 80s, okay, to Eagles question, do you think that team would have won a Super Bowl like he did with the Bears?
Buddy Ryan? No.
Yeah.
No. You guys didn't have the offense to do it.
No.
You didn't have a Walter Payton.
Yeah, you could talk.
You didn't have a Willie Gault. You didn't have those guys. And that Eagles defense would have never been as good as that Bears defense. Never. As good as those guys were, and Reggie White was a stud. And Seth Joyner was really good. And Jerome Brown was really good. And Eric Allen's my favorite Eagle of all time. But
if they were going to win
the 85 Bears that was a special group of players. And that's why Buddy Ryan never won a playoff game with the Eagles, because that just was not the 85 Bears.
Yeah, if the Eagles had a chance to win a Super Bowl before the one that they won, it was Andy Reid. It was the Andy Reid tenure with Donovan McNabb. I think they went to 4 straight NFC title games or something like that. Maybe it was 4 to 5 or something like that. They went to a Super Bowl. That was the team. If you were going to win a Super Bowl, it was going to be that. They were kind of like the Buffalo Bills of the NFC East. Only they didn't reach the Super Bowl, but they always got close, except for that one time.
And the NFC East in the 80s was no joke. The Giants were one of the best teams in football. The Redskins, they were the Redskins. They were one of the best teams in football. And then, of course, you had the Niners. They were unbelievable, too. From 1981 through 1991, pretty sure the Washington, the Giants, and the Niners won like 9 of those Super Bowls.
And the NFC in general won, like 17 in a row?
I think the Bears are the only team that won a Super Bowl that wasn't the Washington or the Raiders did. But
how many Super Bowls because I know the Broncos broke it. I think in like 90.
It's like 13 in a row. Because 97,
13?
The NFC won it from 84 to 96. 97 was the first year since 83 that the AFC had actually won.
And that's when Elway beat the Packers.
The Niners, Giants, and Redskins are extremely dominant in that period of time. So I don't think the Eagles would have ever been good enough to beat any of those teams, honestly. And I'm not saying that because I can't stand the Eagles. I just don't believe they would have been, because they were good enough to make the playoffs. But again, they had nothing. Their offense was Randall Cunningham, and that was it. They had nothing else. They had Sherman and Anthony Toney as the running backs. Keith Byers was one of your best receivers as a fullback. Now, Keith Jackson was a good tight end, but they had no receivers. They had nothing. Yeah. The receivers in the 80s are worse than the ones that Donovan McNabb was thrown to.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, it's true. And Mike Mann, he says, DJ threw 1 pick in 30 reps in the end zone package on day 1. And I'm assuming he meant it was an awesome pick, the interception, which, by the way, the throw today, the interception, was not a good throw. But what I will say, and he did make a bunch of other good throws, but the interception today was not a good throw. It was like a 55-yard bomb. He threw it in triple coverage, whatever it was. But I make note, the play by Dane Belton was really good on that. He made a really good interception, and he's a guy I'm rooting for. I think he could fit the defense really well. I wanted to bring him up too. And then he says, Tyrod is playing against the second string. Well, yeah, that's another thing you got to factor in. If you're trying to evaluate these players, it's a lot easier to look good against, the second string as opposed to the first. For sure. I agree with that, Mike. But again, statistics to me, especially early on when they don't even have the pads on yet, these guys he hasn't even thrown to a lot of these guys before in terms of a controlled setting. I'm sure he did workouts on his own, but going up against defenses, I mean, I'm not reading too much into any of this quite yet. Preseason, I'll start to read more into it. But Mike, man, thank you so much, man, for being such a great supporter. And Blue Collar, what's up, man? Hey, fellas, do you think the running back position is not a position that teams like to trade for midseason, or that don't matter? I'm assuming you're asking that based off of at least the slight possibility that we could trade Saquon Barkley this year if the Giants fall out. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of a running back that got traded in season.
It don't happen often.
Doesn't sound. Yeah, Richardson, I think, might have been in season. I think the Browns traded him to the Colts, but it might have been before the year started. I can't remember.
And he wasn't even that good. So
he was supposed to be, but yeah, he did not become what people thought he would be. I'm sure there's another one or two that you could point to, but yeah, doesn't seem like to be the type of the position that commonly gets traded at the trade deadline. For sure. I don't know. I don't know if that's circumstantial or not, but I mean, it's not the most sought after position, Baddog, if we're being honest. Usually you're looking for, a wide receiver, an edge rusher. You're not going to get a quarterback.
Lineman.
Yeah, lineman. So it's not the most sought after position either. So, but a guy like Barkley, I think, is a rare breed. If he's 2018 Barkley, to me, he's a weapon. But I don't think we'll trade him this year. I'd be surprised if there's much of a market for him.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say too, the game's changed. A lot of teams implore 2 running backs that get equal carries or maybe 60-40, but it's rare to have a guy like Derrick Henry who just gets multiple carries. He's not, they don't alternate series, or, you don't have many backs that are in there all 3 downs anymore. So the running back position's kind of become less important, I would say, over the last. It's still important. You still want to run the ball. You still want to be able to do those things. But I think just having a single running back where they carry most of the load, I think that's kind of went by the wayside because they try to keep the running backs fresh instead of wearing them down. Derrick Henry's a massive guy. He can handle it. But, I mean, even look at Dallas. Zeke is that guy that's had all those carries, but now they're splitting it with Pollard quite a bit, and Pollard's pretty good. Look at the Eagles. They got a multitude of guys that can run the ball, and they run it effectively. It helps. It's, with us, our championship years, we had Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw, and throw Derek Ward in there. We had 3 different types of running backs, Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I'd say maybe probably the last 15 years or so, that's kind of gotten away, where they just use multiple running backs now. So it doesn't mean that it can't happen, but what are you actually going to get in return?
Yeah. The first team I remember that, I mean, I'm sure there were other teams, but the first team that really used the running back by committee a ton was the Patriots. I remember that. Yes. Like they had their running backs every week there'd be a different guy. And obviously, like you said, the Earth, Wind, and Fire team after Tiki Barber retired, and they were just as effective as Tiki Barber was, who led the league in rushing the previous year. Yeah. So, obviously the running back position has been devalued over the last 20 years or so.
Right, which is why everybody got a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people got mad when we took that running back 2nd overall.
Which is understandable.
You don't take a running back, so
yeah, understandable. Ben, man, thank you very much. He says, Chris, where did you buy the Thibodeau jersey? I just bought it online. I can't remember if it was it was an ad on Twitter. It might have been Giants.com. I don't remember, but I'm sure you could find it on Giants.com.
Yeah, Giants.com, Fanatics.
Yeah. You can find
NFL Shop.
It's
probably yeah.
Yeah. And they're selling the exact one I got. The throwback, they're selling it. So you could definitely get it on Giants.com. I don't know if they sell the throwback in, if you go to a Dick's Sporting Goods, they may not have it there. Obviously, they're going to have Giants jersey, but they might not have that exact one. Your best bet is to do it online. Ralph, man, thank you very much. Says Daniel Jones and the starters need to play a full half in all 3 games. There is no reason to save them to win 4 games. Big respect to the entertainer and Baddog. Appreciate that, Ralph, man. Yeah, I mean, listen, if they want to go a quarter and a half for 2 games and a half, I agree that they should be playing in some capacity in all 3 games. I agree with that. Being all the factors that we've talked about. I completely agree with that. You got 2 brand new schemes on either side of the ball. And I think they will. I don't think they're going to play a full half, all 3 games. But I think they're going to get some time. I think it'll be hopefully at least a quarter, all 3 games. And I think that one of the games where they're going to play probably even a little bit more than a half with the first team offense. So I'm hoping here's what I'll say. I'm hoping they get at least a game's worth of time between the 3 games.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, I hope I get 4 quarters over
4 quarters in the 3 games. That's what I
hope. Yep. Great minds think alike, baby. That's exactly what I was going to say. I hope they get 4 quarters in the preseason.
Yeah.
But Ralph, if they decide that they want to play him a half in each game to get him as many snaps and get him as used to this as they can. And again, you're not going to see the whole playbook. They're not going to open up everything. It's going to be very basic, very vanilla. But yeah, I agree. If you're trying to learn a new offense, you should get as many snaps in those situations as possible. So if they think 6 quarters is it, I'm not going to have a problem with it. But I will have a problem if they play 1 quarter, kind of like they did last year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're good enough where they can just rest on their laurels and go, okay, we're a really good team. We're very experienced. We've been in this situation before. We don't need a lot of practice. I think they do. And I think, like Chris said, you'll maybe not 6 quarters, but I think 4 quarters between the 3 games is
I'll say
definitely
between
possible.
4 and 6.
Yeah.
Because I could see 3 quarters or at least close to 3 quarters in one of the games and then maybe 1 quarter in the other 2. So maybe 5 quarters.
Right.
I'll say between 4 and 6. That's what I expect to get out of the first unit on both sides of the ball from within these 3 games.
Yep.
Nerve swag, man. Thank you very much, man. In my opinion, the decision to stick with Eli at the end of the career is bigger than Gettleman. Fans, organization were split on him. There were mixed feelings about him. He was declining, but he won us 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, I mean, Nerf swag. Listen, Eli Manning's my favorite player of all time. But if you go back in time, yeah, I mean, all right. If we want to play Monday morning GM, and by the way, Eli Manning still proved that he could go to the playoffs the following year in 2016, and I will go to my grave thinking that if Eli Manning was supported the way in which Drew Brees was late in his career, Eli Manning still could have been a winning quarterback in the NFL. The Giants didn't have near that. So a good organization would have recognized that. And once they fired Tom Coughlin, they should have fired Reese, and then they should have let the GM make the decision whether to push forward with Eli or completely start over. Once you kept Reese, you were keeping Eli. You were going to try to continue to win with that football team. That gave you 2 more years of Reese because they spent a ton. They had a good year, and the following year they completely vomited. So the fact they didn't fire Reese has everything to do with why they didn't start a rebuild in 2016. Then they bring in Gettleman, and after the fan reaction with Eli in 2017, was it, I think, with Geno Smith coming in, I think Mara hired Gettleman because he knew he would stick with Eli. So, yeah, I mean, I think it all stems back to 2015. Not starting on a fresh page, not blowing it all up then. That's when they should have blown it up. We can't live in the past. That's 7 years ago. But I agree. That was the first crucial mistake by John Mara in terms of having too much hands-on with this football team. If you were going to fire Coughlin, you fire the GM with him and you start over.
The one thing I'll say, 2015, Eli Manning had the best statistical season of his career. He threw 35 touchdowns, 14 picks. The defense was terrible. We stayed on there. They should have kept Coughlin. I always said I don't feel like Eli was the same player after Coughlin got fired. I felt like Eli, I'm not saying Eli didn't care or didn't try, but I feel like part of his heart was missing. I feel like, Coughlin was his coach's entire career. He loved Coach Coughlin. Feeling is mutual. I think Eli lost some passion when they fired Coughlin. I think he was let down by that, and I think it hurt him a little bit. But they did go out there. They tried to revamp the defense. Defense was very good in 2016. Offense was bad. But like Chris said, 2017, the entire team was a disaster. There was a lot of injuries. They lost 13 games for the first time in the history of their franchise. Yeah. And, they fired everybody. But like Chris said, the Geno Smith thing is what kept Eli here for the next 2 years. And I'm not going to say Gettleman did a great job because he was terrible. But I do think that 2018, I'll always say, I don't think Gettleman had something to do with it, but I think the Maras had a lot. You're going to try to win for Eli Manning. We should have never let that happen. We should have never ended the streak. We should have never started Geno Smith. We should have stepped in and said, nope, you're not doing that to our quarterback. You're not disrespecting him. I think those 2 years, I think 18 and 19 were kind of, I think that was more the Mara thing. Because after 2015, Eli's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And that defense was bad. The offense was fine. So I can understand those 2 years. Not to mention he was good under McAdoo. They moved McAdoo up to the head coach.
Yep.
But yeah, I think 18 and 19, that was just because of, McAdoo was like, F you. But remember, McAdoo wanted another quarterback. Remember, they wanted to trade up and get the Sean Watson.
McAdoo was spiteful.
Yeah, and I think that was his big F you. He didn't want to go out and get my quarterback. We're terrible. F you. I'm sitting the guy.
Yeah. But it is what it is. The way I look at it, Baddog, is first off, it's not Eli's fault. Okay.
No.
And secondly, when he wins you 2 championships, sometimes you got to live with maybe the fact that they were a little more loyal than they should have been.
Yeah, a lot of teams are going to be loyal to guys that win championships.
That's the way I look at it. I'm like, okay, I will take the trade-off of hanging on to Eli for a year or two longer than we should have because he won us 2 championships. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that set us back. But
yeah,
but he won 2 Super Bowls. You know, Chris, real quick, people will tell me, oh, everybody acts like they loved Eli after 4 years. This is Daniel Jones' 14th. I wish people would stop comparing those 2 guys because I've said a number of times, the game is different now. Okay, the defenses could play a little bit more. There wasn't all this quick passing stuff, but Eli went to the playoffs in 2005, 2006, and 2007.
Eli didn't have a losing season until 2013 once he was a full-time starter.
And he had proven that he could have his moments where he led us back and won games when we needed it. So, yeah, his statistics weren't fantastic. And I've told this story. I went to the game in 2007 when they played the Vikings, and he was horrible. He threw 3 pick sixes, 4 interceptions, lost 42-17. And I saw a guy burn his jersey in the parking lot on the way out. So I know that there was fire Coughlin, get rid of Eli. I lived through that. But you can't compare these 2 guys.
And the other thing I laugh at is when people compare the stats as if it's the same type of game.
That's what I mean. It was
like in 2005, Eli Manning threw, I think, 24 touchdowns. He was top 5 in touchdown passes.
Right.
Eli Manning was top 5 in touchdown passes in 2005, 2006, and 2007.
Right.
And he was with the likes of names of Tom Brady. Of course, he threw a lot of picks, but he was top 5 in touchdowns.
Right.
It was a different game back then. 25 touchdowns get you in the top 5.
Right.
Nowadays, 25 touchdowns get you in the top 18.
20.
Yeah, so
maybe
it's a different game.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I understand people want to stick up for Joe. I get it, but at the same time, it's hard to me. You can't compare those 2 guys. Eli Manning was the first overall pick in the draft. Everybody had him going as the first overall pick in the draft, and when Daniel Jones was picked 6th overall, I mean, who the hell said who went into that mock draft going the Giants are taking Daniel Jones 6th overall? So. Yeah. Different situation, different game. I hope Daniel Jones. It's not like I root against the guy. I just, I had high expectations for Daniel Jones.
Well, this is the year. He's got to take the jump.
I agree.
Hey, Sam, man, thank you very much, man. Can't wait to see you at FanFest, Chris. Go Yankees! Congratulations, you guys won again today, man. And yeah, man, looking forward to seeing you both. I mean, both the Mets and Yankees looking good now. I mean,
after the Mets whooped their ass, and they did.
Yeah.
I said the Yankees lost 2 to the Astros, 2 to the Mets. Like they're losing to good teams. Best thing for the Yankees was getting the Royals in a 4-game series at home. It's gonna get them right.
And you got Benintendi.
That certainly helps too. We didn't get Luis Castillo though. I was a little disappointed about that. Frankie Montez maybe wearing pinstripes, but I kind of wanted Luis Castillo. But I don't know if you paid it. I mean, Seattle gave up the world.
Oh yeah, they gave.
Cincinnati wanted Volpe and Peraza from us. No way. You're not getting 2 top prospects. 1, yeah, but not 2. No.
Yeah. No. NFL expert says if James Bradbury snags a pick off Daniel Jones anytime during the season and taunts him, I swear I'm going to throw the remote through the TV. Hopefully he doesn't, man, for the sake of your TV and for the sake of Giants fans. Nobody
doesn't even need to taunt him. Just the Eagles.
Yeah. It's the worst. The worst.
Horrible. I don't matter who he throws a pick. Hopefully Jalen Hurts throws 3 interceptions against us again. That was pretty fun.
That was nice. I was at that game.
I know. That was pretty good. That put my pride on the line in that game.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I was scared.
I'm just going to read Meat's member chat before I lose it. He says, "Sup, Tane, sup, Baddog. I missed you guys like Gallo misses high fastballs." Good to see the OGs. What's going on, Meat, man?
High fastballs, low sliders, curveballs. Yeah. He misses a lot. He misses more than I do with my takes. So that's pretty bad.
Thanks for popping in, Meat, man. Appreciate you popping in. King Josh says, FanFest is 1 day after my birthday. Ugh, next year. Well, have a happy birthday, man. So your birthday's a couple of days away, and hopefully I get to meet you. I'm going to be in Lot G. I'm going to get there. I think the gates open at 6, so I'll probably get there at like 3. I don't know what time Bobby's setting up the tailgate, but hopefully I get to meet some of you guys there. Should be a lot of fun. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I think Dan. Oh, Dan, man, thank you so much for the $2 donation, man. I appreciate it, buddy. And he's always in here too, man. I want to give him a shout out. Thanks for being here, Dan.
Good Italian guy right there.
Great Italian.
Buongiorno. Paisano, eh. Another
Mike said,
paisano right there, Mike Gorga.
my Gorga, man, and he's got the Giants hat. He says, my all-time favorite Eagle is LT's Ron Jaworski.
Oh God, yeah, LT. Jaworski still has nightmares about LT. I see.
Did he ruin Jaworski's career? I know he rocked him. I remember I've seen clips of that. Did he?
I just think Jaworski was kind of at the end. They drafted Randall Cunningham, so they had Randall. I don't remember if they drafted him or where they got Randall from, but yeah. But I'll tell you, hey, listen, Eagle fans, I have a Randall Cunningham rookie in my collection. I think that's the only Eagles card I own, but I was a fan of Randall. By the way, real quick, I don't know if anybody's in the chat or whatever, but whoever got me this shirt, thank you. It was in my P.O. box today, so let's kick ass. Appreciate it very much. Fits good. Ready to rock and roll. Some new Giants gear.
Looks good, man.
Yeah.
Luis Breyer, man. What's up, buddy? Sup, fellas? Who do you think is our biggest NFC East rival? Cowboys or Eagles? How about the biggest rival outside of the NFCs? Can't stand the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, Luis, for me, Luis, I think here's what I'll say. I think it comes down to the time. Like in the 90s, you might have said the Cowboys, but now, for me at least, since I've been watching this team, it's the Eagles. One, they're the closest teams in terms of geographically, but it just seems like we can never beat that team. I just feel like I have more. Well, let's put it this way: I, as an individual Giant fan, have more hatred for the Eagles than any other team in this division. But I think it has to do with the fact that I've had a lot more pain when it comes to going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Right, the Dallas Cowboys in recent times they've kicked our ass, but I could think of so many times where I was very happy after a Cowboys game. We beat them to make the playoffs. We made Terrell Owens cry for his quarterback en route to a Super Bowl. So I can think of several individual.
We won the first game in Jerry World.
We won the first game in Jerry World where Eli signed the wall. So for me, I think it's the Eagles, and I've pretty much always felt that way since I've gotten into the Giants. I felt they're our biggest rival. In terms of the biggest rival out of the division, in the 80s, I would have probably said the 49ers. I didn't watch the team then, but I would guess that's who it was because of just how good they were. I'm not going to say the Jets, even though some people may say that because we play in the same town because we only play them once every 4 years. That's a tough one. I think it's right now it's tough to say anybody because we've been so bad that like when you're as bad as the Giants have been, it's hard to have a rival outside of the division. So come back to me with that question when this team starts to get better. So, but in certain time, I'm trying to think maybe. I'm trying to think who was our biggest rival when we were good with Eli outside of the division. I don't know, Baddog. I'll let you answer the question. I don't know.
Yeah, well, for me, the Eagles and Cowboys are like they're like this close.
Yeah,
it's like a pubic hair, right? I would say the Eagles are the team I hate the most, and I did grow up in the '80s, so the Eagles still always gave us a hard time, even when we were way better than them. Buddy Ryan's defense. This freaking bounty he put on LT, Randall Cunningham escaping Carl Banks, Visek Ahima freaking punching the stupid bag after punt return, the block freaking extra point or block field goal to win the game that Clyde Simmons, I believe, picked up a red. We always lost in the weirdest ways to Philadelphia, always.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I really would say the Cowboys and Washington were like they were that rival in this division, and then you have the Eagles and Giants. I think the Eagles and Giants fan bases are extremely similar. I think Philadelphia and New Yorkers, I think these two cities are extremely similar, very passionate, very stubborn, very vocal. They love the hell out of their team. And if you suck, they will let you know you suck. And I think that's part of the reason Eagle fans and Giants fans bang heads because we're so similar. Cowboy fans, they're kind of all over the place. I mean, they're I don't know. I mean, Cowboy fans, it's just
for me,
thing.
I hate
Washington. We beat them so often. I wouldn't say they're really a rival. I don't hate them as much as the other ones because we beat them so badly. It's kind of like the Eagles fans probably feel about us here recently. It's like, who the hell cares about the Giants? We beat them every damn time we play them.
Well, not the last couple. That was the one thing Joe Judge did okay. He beat the Eagles. Both years. He beat them once.
True. That is true. As far as outside the division, definitely the Niners that was a big one.
Yeah.
In the 80s when I was growing up because we played them every year in the playoffs. We played them in 84. We played them in 81, 84, 85, 86, and 1990, and then 93. So what is that? 81, 84, 85, 86, 90, 93. So 6 times in 12 years. But not to mention we had the great Monday Night Football game in 1990 when we were both 10-1. They won that game. We had the game in 86 where we came back from 17-0 against them in the regular season when Mark Morrow carried their entire team down the field for 20 yards. So growing up, it was definitely the Niners. But like Chris said, it's hard to – I mean, it seems like we play the Bears every year.
I've seen a couple people in the chat say the Patriots because I'm assuming because we played them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they took Belichick, so maybe you have that thrown in there too.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that too.
Yeah,
but it's tough because we like Chris said, we really haven't been good enough to where we're meeting the same opponent like in the playoffs.
You could throw the Packers in there too, I guess, during the Eli era because we played them during both playoff runs, one in the NFC Championship. Yeah, we beat their ass. But yeah, in recent times, because of how bad we've been, it's hard to have a rival outside of the division.
Hopefully we get one here soon.
Yeah. John, man, thank you very much, man. Hello, my Giants family. Stand up. If you make a new account on the Giants site, you can get a coupon for 10 to 20% off your purchase. Hope that, I'm assuming buying a jersey. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, the other thing I'll say, at least when I bought it, I don't know if it's still available. I got free shipping. There was something that you typed in.
Yeah, they usually do that. Like Fanatics is usually if it's over $75, it's free shipping.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. The online's definitely the way to go, though, in terms of buying the jerseys.
Yes.
Kyle, man, thank you very much, man. Good evening, gentlemen. So glad to see you guys again doing these lives. More sacks, Tibbs or Old Jolari, dog, sweet tooth. What do you eat? I'm still cutting but my love for sweets. I'll answer the sweet part first just because I'm on a diet, and then I'll let Bad Dog answer it as well. One thing I've been doing, Kyle, because I used to eat ice cream. I got sugar-free Jell-O. And it soothes my sweet tooth. I'm not saying it's the same as having, 3 scoops of ice cream, but it's only 10 calories. So that's what I've been doing during my diet in terms of trying to ease the sweet tooth. Then I'll answer the sack question. Tibbs and Old Jolari. I'm gonna go Old Jolari just because it's his second year. He's coming off a year in which he had 8.5 sacks. But you flip a coin there. I could see either one of them leading the team, and I'll see collectively they have about 15 sacks. That's what I'll go with. But I'll go slightly Old Jolari there. But Bado, go ahead.
First and foremost, gentlemen, I don't know who you're talking about. Somebody come in here? Appreciate the compliment. I would say Old Jolari just because he's had a year of NFL experience. And I think that goes a long way. He knows how to get to the quarterback. He had 8.5 sacks last year. And I feel, it's hard to say that teams would not pay more attention to Ojulari than Tibbs, but I'm thinking because he's a top 5 pick, he might get a little bit more attention. And like I said, I just feel like since Azeez has the year of experience, that he'll have more sacks. I don't think it'll be like 8 more sacks than Thibodeau, but I do think he'll have more. As far as sweets go, I do a lot of different things. This is a big one for me.
Right.
This is a big one to cure my sweet tooth. This is a snack for me, is freaking Coke Zero. There's that. Sometimes it's a protein shake. They're higher in calories, but a lot of times I will, because my macros are low, whatever. I can never have enough protein. Protein shake is good. Or again, you got 0 calories in the soda. One of the great things I do, if you want no calories, gum. The sugar-free gum is a big one because it'll cure your appetite. And it's sweet. Pop out 3 or 4 of those, pieces or whatever, and go to town. They want to lose some flavor. Add another one if you're still hungry. But gum is a big one for me too. Again, if I have some calories, an apple, a banana. But yeah, sugar-free gum and the 0 calorie Coke is pretty much what I use to try to ease the sweet tooth. I'm more of a salt snack guy, but I did have ice cream tonight, because tonight was my cheat night. So
there you go.
2 pieces of pizza. I had like 4 scoops of ice cream, and then I had I think 6 Oreos. So
what did you go with the what flavor ice cream?
Chocolate chip. It's my favorite. My wife got chocolate chip, but then she got chocolate peanut butter cup. So I had like 3 scoops of chocolate chip, scoop of chocolate peanut butter cup. Then I added some peanut butter and some chocolate sauce and some whipped cream to it. Yeah, that's right. And then tomorrow I won't eat breakfast. I'll go to the gym. and I will use all the stored fat and calories from my leg workout and burn it all off. And I'll go right back to eating 1,900 calories and 260 grams of protein. That's just what I do. So
he's a machine, ladies and gentlemen.
Machine.
Blue collar.
Insane is what I am. Nuts.
He's got a question for us. He says, Tana versus Baddog in football, baseball, and basketball. Who wins? All right, I'll start in terms
Tana definitely beats me in baseball.
I was very good.
There is not a doubt in my mind.
I haven't played baseball in a long time.
It doesn't matter. Me neither.
That was my best sport. I was very good. I would say I was very good in baseball. I was very good in baseball.
You would kick my ass there. I would never be able to hit. I'd never be able to hit off you. No way. I'd look like Gallo up there. So no. Then again, you might be able to strike Gallo out too. So who the hell?
Well, you could strike Gallo out throwing.
Well, that's true. I probably could.
I'm gonna give Baddog football. I'm not. Baddog's got the muscles, man. So I'm gonna go. Baddog's got the muscles, man. So I'm gonna give Baddog football for sure, even though it's not really a one-on-one sport. I'm giving him that. And then as far as basketball goes, I don't know. How's your game, Baddog?
Sucks. I haven't played any of those in so long, man. Basketball will probably be pretty even.
I'm not gonna say I'm great in basketball. I'm okay. I don't think I suck for a guy that's 36 years old, and I had played in some rec leagues a couple of years ago. So
yeah,
I'm gonna
get a long time.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Baddog would destroy me in football.
He's got me. I can tell you this: it's been a long time since I've played a pickup game of basketball, like horse in the backyard, my nephews or whatever, not Rochester. I forgot what it is where there's a game where you bang it off the freaking backboard and then you make a shot, you bang one off the backboard, you got it, whatever. It's a free for all. I forgot what it's called. But playing a basketball game itself, no, it would take me a while. I had a good shot. I mean, I could shoot. My handle was ass. My handle was terrible. I was pretty good at rebounding because I enjoyed,
crashing the glass.
I did. I enjoy it. And on the playground, everybody's 5'11", 6 foot. So it's not like you're undersized.
Right.
Everybody's about the same size. So it's not like you're going against a dude that's 6'6". But yeah, I think you'd beat me in basketball.
There you go. There's your answer. Well, maybe we'll have to film that when we go.
Well, I know that you and I could take Josh and Sean.
Oh, for sure.
I know that.
Oh, for sure.
I know that. We'd be running the fast break all day.
Maybe we could set up like a two-hand touch football game when we go to the Bears game. That'd be cool.
Oh, God, that would be rough. I don't want to do that, man.
You don't want to do that?
The hell no. Number one, someone's going to break their ass in the concrete.
Good point.
That's going to happen. And listen, you can work out as much as you want, but when you're running around and you're using different muscles, you're going to hurt. You don't use those muscles, man. It's not the same thing. It's not. And I'm 46. I'm not a young man anymore.
Well, you could play automatic QB. You don't got to run. You play for
my arm might fall off, though, man. My shoulder would be like, damn, man. I'm telling you. I always say this. I'm like a classic automobile. You can look at it and go, oh, that looks good, but everything under the hood don't work.
Yeah.
It's me.
Harrison, man, thank you so much, man. Been with me forever, man. Great supporter. Says, my guy's leaving New Zealand to come to New York for the first time ever in December. Nice. Going to the Eagles at Giants. Beyond high. That's freaking awesome. Any recommendations for when I'm there? Well, if you're going to New York, I don't know how long you're going to be here. But if you,
a while, because that is.
I was going to say, if he's going from New Zealand, he's got to be spending at least 5 to
2
7
weeks.
I would hope at least a week.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to do the touristy thing. Definitely got to go to Manhattan for sure.
Gotta go to Manhattan.
I would explore more than just the Broadway area, which is obviously the tourist trap. I would go all around. There's lots of great spots downtown, uptown. But of course, you got to go to Manhattan. Maybe check out
the Statue of Liberty.
See the statue. Yeah, do the tourist stuff for sure. You got to do that. You may never be back here. And there's definitely great parts of Brooklyn. I would suggest checking out for sure.
Eat as much as you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Find you some good delis. Get hot dogs from the vendors in the street. Eat as much pizza as you possibly. You will never have better pizza.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to get a New York hot dog.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the vendors. You get
the vendors. You got to get the pizza. Any type of food you're going to get in New York. I think, and I'm biased, but it's incredible.
It is.
You gotta look up the best restaurants. But man, definitely eat your face off. Maybe see a play. That's something you're not gonna be able to see anywhere else, really, at least of that quality. So those are some recommendations.
Yes.
And Sneaky G-Man, dude, he's got a I think he's big on Instagram, man. But I've talked to him before. Really nice guy, man. Thank you so much, man, for the $10 super sticker. He says, thanks. No, thank you, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. And let's get to Brandon Rogers. Brandon Rogers, big Seahawks fan.
Yes, he is.
Good to see Brandon, man. Hope you're having a good summer. Says, good to see you guys back. Cheers. Brandon, man, thank you so much, man. And you got some tough sledding too this year, man. The Seattle Seahawks. But you're kind of rebuilding. You're probably thinking about next year going out and getting yourself a quarterback. But you guys are finally starting to rebuild. We'll see how Seattle plays out this year. But Brandon, good to see you, man. Let's see.
I was just thinking of Brandon. I don't know how old Brandon is, but just thinking to myself, because I forgot who it was. Noah, Clutch B-Ball.
Yeah.
Said, I started watching you when I was a freshman in high school. Now I'm graduated. And I'm thinking KP also started watching us when he was a freshman. Now he graduated. Gavin, remember Sperm Cell?
Yeah, man.
Gavin Cell, same
I still
thing.
Talk to Gavin in my Discord.
Same thing. Yeah, he stops in once in a while. I'm just thinking of all the young guys that started watching the channels when they were freshmen in high school and now graduated. And I know Brandon was a younger guy. I don't know how old Brandon is now.
We have molded America's youth, Baddog. We have molded America.
That's really freaking scary.
It's a scary thought.
Better us than TikTok, though. That's a fact. That's a fact, because I can tell you, you may not always want to hear what I have to say, but I've actually lived life, unlike some of these guys that are 20 years old trying to tell you what is what. But but that's still scary. I hope we're not molding anybody here. We're definitely not artists. But yeah, I know how old Brandon is, but I just think it's fun that we've seen these kids grow up and now they're getting ready to go into the real world or go to college. So that's pretty cool. And it's hard to believe that we've been around that long too.
Yeah. Time flies, man.
I've been out of high school almost 30 years. So here's to you.
There you go. Grim Solo says, seen people talking not taking quarterback next year if we pick outside the top 10. People forget Bills made the playoffs and traded way up for Allen. I don't think they traded way up. I think they jumped from 12 to 7. I wasn't like a huge up. But what I'll say, Grim, I mean, it's so hard to judge until we get to the offseason. I think they made the playoffs the year before, though. I don't think they were picking it in a playoff spot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got to look at the trade. Maybe I'm misremembering. But what I'll say about this draft just right now, and this could completely change over the course of the season, there's going to be a ton of teams that are looking for quarterbacks because nobody drafted one this year.
Because the class was terrible.
Nobody. So, Grim, what I'll say to that is it may not be as easy as you think to trade up and get a quarterback because depending on where we're picking. If we're picking 16, 17, it is going to be hard to jump into the top 8, 7 to go up and get a quarterback because there's going to be a ton of teams that are going to be interested in quarterbacks. There could be upwards of 10, 11, 12 teams, especially in as rich of a quarterback draft class, at least as it seems now. That's what I'll say. But again, it's too hard to judge right now. You have to let the season play out, see where the chips fall, see how these prospects do in college, see how Daniel Jones does, and we'll talk about it in the offseason.
Yeah, if we're outside the top 10, it would depend how far out we are. But it's like Chris said, it's going to be tough. There's going to be teams. Seattle's going to be looking for a quarterback. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts ain't going to get it done. Some Eagle fans think he will. Some Eagle fans think they won't. But they've kind of got an insurance policy in Philly in case he doesn't. They have 2 first-round picks. So if they somehow fall back and don't have a good year and he struggles, they can use their draft capital, move up, and get a quarterback.
The Bears can move on from Fields if he struggles this year. The Jets can move on from Zach Wilson if he struggles this year. Tampa Bay is definitely potentially in the market for a quarterback. Yes. New Orleans is in potentially for a quarterback. Carolina's in for a quarterback. Minnesota could absolutely be in for a quarterback. Right. Cousins is kind of up on his deal. The Raiders,
Washington could be in for a quarterback. Teams. Washington's there.
Yeah, so many teams that could potentially be in the market for a quarterback. So you got to let the season play out and see where the chips fall, see where we're picking, and take it from there. Sneaky G-Man, again, man, thank you so much, man. Hope to see you guys this season. You guys signed the belt for sure, man. We're gonna be at the Bears game for sure. Maybe I'll.
Well, I don't know. I talked to my brother-in-law today. He sounds like he's good to go, but I don't know if it's 100%. I don't want to. Okay.
I'm going to the Bears game.
Yeah.
So
that's our plan because I talked to him. today, and he said he was looking at the games. He goes, "That seems like the best." I'm like, "It's early October. It means it'll be high 60s. Weather be really, it should be really nice. It's not going to be 95, and it's not going to be 25, and we should be able to beat the Bears." So he said that's probably the best one. I just want to double check with him because again, the tickets that I'm looking at, they're not cheap. And I don't want to buy them and go, "Oh, now what the hell do I do with these things?"
Right.
So I also don't want to book the hotel, which is not, it's not cheap either. It's New York's tough, man. He even said to me, he goes, "What the?" He goes, "Why are these so much New York? Not the Bills. The Bills are a little bit cheaper, but the city,
Yeah, it's expensive.
but
I'm also
I want to be sure, but that is definitely the game that I want to go. That's some of the game we're going to go to if we go. And like I said, he sounded like he was 75, 80% sure. I just want to double check before I go, "Okay, man, I'm making the leap. I'm buying these tickets. I'm booking the hotel. We're there."
Yeah. Also, Sneak, if you're going to be at Fan Fest, I'll be there too. I don't know if you're going to be. JB12 says, for Mets, who would you rather have, Soto or Ohtani? I don't know Ohtani's age. I know Soto's 23. I don't know Ohtani's age. I also know Ohtani had an injury a couple of years ago. I'm probably leaning Soto because he's only 23 years old. But Ohtani's probably pretty young. I mean, they're both. Listen, I'd be thrilled with either one. I don't think we're getting either one now. I think it's very possible we could end up with one in the future. But this year, I don't think we're getting either one. But to answer your question, JB12, I would faint if we got either player. They're both incredible. They're two of the top 5 players in the sport. So I would be thrilled to get a player that young with that much potential on the Mets. But I don't think it'll happen this year.
Yeah, they good.
Yeah. Big Kane says, "Hey guys, I heard the Cowgirls wearing their classic uniforms in Thanksgiving, so we are wearing the red and white. And will they put out the elite classic blue?" Here's what I'll say, Big Kane. I did hear that about the Cowboys. I don't think we're gonna wear, and maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think we're gonna wear our the throwback uniforms because it came out when we're gonna wear them, and that's gonna be the Bears game and the Washington game. I didn't hear anything about Dallas. Maybe we do. Maybe you heard something I didn't, but I just heard those 2 games are the 2 games we're gonna wear this year. And then he says, "And will they put out the elite classic blue?" It doesn't seem like it this year. I think they would have announced it by now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe you're right, Big Kane, that we'll don those jerseys, but I doubt it. It doesn't sound like it because they announced the specific games, the Bears and Washington, the 2 home games. MNY, man, what's going on, buddy? He says, "Let's go, G-Man." What's going on, man? Let's go, G-Man is right, buddy. Thanks.
I'm anxious for some preseason football. I believe that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Of course, now I'll be live for that.
Oh, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. The first.
I know. I thought the 13th was. Maybe it's the 14th.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. Let me see. Giants.
The 13th is 2 weeks from today.
I thought it was sooner than that. It's August 11th.
Okay. Oh, but then it's the 21st, right?
Yeah, 11th and the 21st and the 28th.
Okay.
So it's a
So
Thursday.
the 11th is a
12 days away. 12 days.
It's a Thursday?
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Sweet.
12 days away, our first preseason game.
There you go. That, and then I got the 24-hour stream starting August 20th. I've already said I'll be ready to go August 25th. I'm going to go to sleep for about 5 hours. I'll wake up. I'll eat my food. I'll just kind of be a zombie on the couch, and then I'll be ready to go for the Giants.
Alien says Eli is ranked in the top 10 in starts, attempts, yards, and touchdowns. He has 37 game-winning drives, 8-4 playoff record, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Definitely Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
You're get an argument out of me.
Shouldn't be an argument.
And I say it all the time, Baddog. And it's funny to me that my opinion is completely different than a lot of other people. I see it on Twitter all the time that people say if his last name wasn't Manning, he wouldn't make the Hall of Fame.
Why?
I think it's the complete opposite. I think if his last name wasn't Manning, it wouldn't be a debate about whether or not he'd be in the Hall of Fame. If because people subconsciously compare him to his brother because of the last name Manning and the fact he played in New York. You tell me a quarterback in the history of the NFL with his credentials, top 10 in every major statistical category, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 game-winning drives.
Right.
And then people point to the record, a 500 quarterback. Yeah, well, the guy didn't have a losing season when he was the starter day one from 2005 to 2012, then the team completely fell apart. Nobody talks about Warren Moon's record. If you include the playoffs, Warren Moon's an under 500 quarterback for his career. No, he was a.
What is Joe Namath's record?
Yeah, so no, Eli Manning is absolutely a Hall of Famer, and I go as far to say if his last name wasn't, I think the name Manning hurts him because people debate it more because they compare him to his brother.
Facts. And he's an absolute Hall of Famer. That's also facts. First ballot.
Yeah.
First ballot. Because like you said, Chris, find those credentials. Find me a 2-time Super Bowl MVP that's not in the Hall of Fame. I can think of one off the top of my head, one quarterback that
not
won.
Not a 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Right. I'm thinking one quarterback that won multiple Super Bowls. It's
Yeah.
not in the Hall of Fame. It's Plunkett.
Right.
Because Plunkett was horrible before he got to the Raiders because he played on bad Patriots teams. But he only won the MVP in 1980. He didn't win it in 83. Mark Sound won it in 83. So just find out, because there's only a handful of guys that have done that.
There's only 5. I think it's 4 or 5 2-time Super Bowl MVPs. Bart Starr, Eli Manning, Tom Brady,
Terry Bradshaw,
and Joe Montana.
Yep.
That's the list. Those 5 quarterbacks: Bart Starr, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Tom Brady, Eli Manning. And Eli Manning beat one of those guys that won 2 Super Bowl MVPs
twice.
Both of the Super Bowls.
Twice.
And had a game-winning drive in both of them.
Right.
He's a Hall of Famer. Hate Sam, man. Thank you very much, man. Me as well. Started watching 2018. Graduated 20. That's awesome, man.
There you go.
And thank you.
I do get worried that we're molding the youth.
Yeah. Flemdog says, y'all have molded me. We got another one. Y'all have molded me to get after it. I appreciate all the motivation y'all give me to get after what I need to do. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Go G-Man. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Because you guys motivate us, too.
Yeah.
This is definitely a two-way street. You guys motivate us all the time. I mean, I've said this for years now. We're a terrible team. We've been a terrible team. Every year we have hope, and hope springs eternal, especially when you got a whole new staff and front office. And it seems like Mara's kind of letting Shane do his thing. And, every year we've been really bad. And every year there's thousands of you that hang out, literally thousands of you that hang out with us during the games. And that is the coolest thing ever, man. And we really appreciate it. And this show became what it became because of you guys and girls. So bad team, and yet you're here supporting us and supporting the team. And couldn't be more grateful for you guys and girls. So you definitely motivate us to do what we do. So as always, thank you.
Yeah, man, for sure. And Dyert, I just want to say, I see him. He says, Bad Dog, let's not forget that Tana promised a 24-hour stream at 50K. Oh, I will. I will be doing if I ever hit 50K.
You will.
I will be doing a 24-hour stream. I promise you that.
You hit that during the season.
If I ever hit it, we will do a special 24-hour stream.
And if you need me to come on at any time, I got you, because you're always there for me.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
So anytime.
And Grim Solo says Bills made the playoffs 21-12, and then 12-7.
So they traded him 21. Okay, they traded him 21.
Okay, so I guess they traded up twice. I knew the trade to get him was 12-7. I didn't know they traded up from 21-12 before they did that. I was not aware of that, Grim Solo. So there you go. I stand corrected.
Didn't they? Because I could have swore the Bills didn't make the playoffs.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I thought the Bills made the playoffs in '99 and did
that
not
was the
make
2018 draft, right?
Maybe they did.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Bills they went 9-7 in 2017. They went 9-7.
Okay,
so
that was the first time since like '99 that they had made the playoffs.
So yeah, I knew the trade to get to Allen was 12-7. I was not aware that they traded up from 21-12 earlier.
The Eagles traded up twice to get Carson Wentz too. Remember that?
Yeah. So Grim, it's possible, but I do think we're gonna have a lot of competition this year and teams that are, all depending on where we're picking. John, man, thank you very much, man. Bad Dog is LT, and I am Fred Barnett. We may be old, but we can school these young kids. Although Chris would have no chance, just like his Mets, because the Phils are. What are the Phillies, like 12 games back?
I laughed at the last part because I just thought it was funny.
They're like 12 games back. What are you talking about, my man? You guys are in our rearview mirror. It's the Braves I'm worried about. We got a 5-game series coming up against them in less than a week. But
I'm looking forward to watching that. That's going to be fun. Even for me as a Yankee fan, just a baseball fan in general. It's such a big series. I know it happened with the Yankees and Red Sox, 2006. I want to say it was 2006. I don't know if it was early August or late August, but it was close. Like we might have been a game and a half, 2.5 games up, 3 games up on the Red Sox. Made a 5-game series. And we just beat the holy piss out of them in all 5 games. It was called the Boston Massacre 2. Like we absolutely wrecked them and won the division pretty much because of that series. So the pivotal 5-game series in August or beginning of August or next week is going to be awesome because the Braves could catch you and pass you depending on how things go, or you could pull right the hell away from them and be on your way. So that's huge. It's huge. And you two teams don't like each other.
It's the season. Well, it's not the season, but like it's a chance for the Mets to just put a stranglehold on the division.
Yeah. And you guys don't like each other.
Oh,
makes it even better.
I hate the Braves.
It makes it even better that it's like your most hated rival. So
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna stream probably 4 of the games. I'm not gonna do both games during the doubleheader. I'm gonna probably stream a game every day that they're playing. So should be fun. Cloud says it's Clouds from Twitter. What's up, Clouds? He says long day at work, Chris. No better way to unwind than watch you two. Giants football is back. Let me get a stand up. Clouds is awesome, man. Looking forward to getting to meet you. I think you said you're going to meet me at FanFest as well, man. Great supporter. And thank you so much for being here, man.
You know, Chris, I put the picture of, I don't know where that came from, where someone photoshopped my beautiful visage.
I saw it, on Twitter today. You posted
on Sam Prince's body. But I put that on Instagram, and I was just like, this is why I love our YouTube subscribers, because I just thought it was funny. But I think some people actually thought I was there. So I want to just clear it up. That's not me. Somebody just took my head and put it on Sam Prince's body, because Sam Prince was sitting next to Chris. I was not there. But I think some people will get the assumption I wasn't there. I wish I was.
By the way,
it was funny. The picture's funny. And I said, somebody needs to caption this.
You know what, Baddog? I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but a lot of my subscribers the last time around said, Chris, you got to check out the Giants video. They showed you in the Giants video.
I saw it. Yeah.
So for anybody that has not seen it, I was blown away. I'm going to show it right now to the chat real quick. I'm going to go right to the where is it?
It's like around 2 minutes.
Yeah, here it is. Mark. So I'm gonna turn off the volume, but I'm gonna show the New York Giants showed me in their YouTube video. It was the only time they flashed to the crowd, and I was like, "Do they know who I am?"
They do, because didn't they tell you to stop recording?
Yeah. So, but it was really cool.
Not really somebody pranking you, but
it was somebody. It was somebody pranking me, but it was cool. So like this is the video. And then if you go to the,
it's like a minute 50 something
40
in there.
Something. I'll just play it at a minute 40.
It's so right after this, I think.
And there I am, right there in the crowd.
And then you see right next to him, somebody just decided to put my head there.
But over Sam Prince.
Yeah. So, but it's just funny because I have a look of. So I said somebody needs to give us a caption. Yeah. And I forgot who it was on Instagram came up with a good one. He goes, that look when they tell you about the free diet medium Pepsi or whatever it was. I was like, that was pretty funny because you're like,
it was
I'm
awesome.
Just like, it was funny. Oh, yeah, that's why our subscribers are the best, because they're creative, man. I always appreciate creativity.
Yeah, no, they're the best. Big Kane says, what games would we wear our cool Rush jerseys? Well, Big Kane, in the past, we wear them on Thursday night. I think that's usually when maybe we're gonna wear the color jersey on Thanksgiving, because that's like our Thursday game. That might be when we wear it, Big Kane. It might be the Cowboys.
Maybe that's what he was talking about then.
Maybe that's what he was talking about, and not I think that's probably when we're gonna wear it, because we don't play a Thursday night game. Technically our Thursday night game is the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
So that's probably when we'll wear it, Big Kane. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Brandon Rogers says, my graduation in spring. Finished the class / sports. Well, congratulations.
So he's there. He's this spring. He's out.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Another young man ready to take on the world, baby.
Pete, what's up, Pete? Pete's awesome. Coach Gene on Patty's pod said it well. He doesn't think DJ could do anything short of a Super Bowl win to get a second contract. Way too tempting to draft your guy and have him on a rookie contract. I don't see DJ here after this year. I am going to say, I didn't listen to the pod, Pete. What I will say is, in terms of getting a multi-year extension, I might agree with that. I definitely foresee a scenario where he could get franchise tagged and not win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I could definitely see a scenario where he has a good year and the Giants win 9 or 10 games, make the playoffs. We're not in a position to take a quarterback, and they franchise tag him for a year and see if he can continue to build. But in terms of getting a multi-year extension, I probably agree with that. When I say multi-year, I'm not talking about a 2 or 3 year deal where you could get out after a year. I'm talking about a 5-year commitment. The only way I could see that is if you won a Super Bowl this year. I could definitely see a franchise tag though, Bad Dog, under a certain situation.
Yeah.
If we win 9 or 10 games and he looks good doing it.
Yeah, we talked about that because if we do go 10-7,
yeah,
and we're picking 21st, then you might as well give him another year. I mean, because you're not going to get your quarterback there, probably not your future. And what are you going to do? Let Tyrod Taylor take over the reins? Or are you going to go out and get a free agent quarterback? You might as well just give Jones the franchise tag and make him do it again. And then if he has, say, hey, maybe he'll improve even more and we'll build around him. And then if they get even better, then maybe they're like, okay, well, this is our guy. But remember, this Shane and Dable didn't draft him. So they're going to have to be absolutely blown away by Daniel Jones for them to say, this is our guy. Because it wasn't,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's getting an extension, almost under any circumstance.
I hope to God that he does get tagged because it would mean we had a great year and he had a great year. I'm hoping that's the
means
scenario.
We made the playoffs, essentially.
Right. I'm hoping that's what happens.
And Mark Stewart, man, thank you for being a member for 17 months. Are you going to be at FanFest on Friday? I am. I'm going to be doing but Bad Dog won't be, but I will be. And we're going to be doing the same thing we did last year. I don't know if you went last year, Mark. I'm going to be doing a tailgate with Bobby and Justin I think it's in parking lot G, they told me, with license plate guy. And it probably is going to start at 3. I think the doors open at 6 for FanFest. So, yeah, we're going to have a tailgate. It's all going to they're going to cater the whole thing. So just bring an empty stomach and not providing drinks. So you got to bring your own beer if you want to drink beer. But, yeah, so show up. Should be a lot of fun. But, yeah, I'll definitely be there probably around 3:30 for FanFest. And I just want to give a couple of quick shout-outs. Sports Influencer in the chat. What's going on? Anthony Clever. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it, Mark. I'll definitely see you there, man. Luann, what's going on? Mike George, man, what's going on? But yeah, so we pretty much covered the gist of it. I mean, again, there's not gonna be a ton to talk about. We went over the schedule yesterday. Next week, the New York Giants are gonna be putting the pads on, and that's where things are gonna start to heat up. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, let's talk to the chat. Let's get a couple of comments.
Yeah, and we'll have another week of training camp when we do this next week. But then the week after, we'll at least have preseason games to talk about.
Oh, they'll be playing.
Then we're going to have a lot more to talk about when we see what they actually do against other teams and how they looked. And then obviously after those are over, then we're getting ready for we'll know the final cuts. We'll know the final roster and we'll get ready for opening day, which I've told you guys, I know may have seemed forever. I can't believe July is over. The summer it flies by. I'm going to be doing that 24-hour stream before I know it. And then September 11th is right around the corner. And I think that's when opening day is. So,
did I miss? I'm going to look for it if I did. Oh, a members chat. I missed it. You're right. I got it though. I got you. Sorry, Dire Giants fan. He said this to Bad Dog. If Daniel Jones doesn't do well, good chance we end in the middle of the draft. I really hope we don't end in quarterback hell. To me, it depends on what your term of. If Daniel Jones does, at least in my opinion, and I know we play a soft schedule, but if Daniel Jones does what he did the last 2 years, I don't see us finishing in the middle in the draft order. I think we'll have a top 10 pick. I can't foresee a situation where Daniel Jones throws like 12 touchdowns and like 11 interceptions or whatever he's done on average over the last couple of years, and the Giants win more than 6 games.
Let me ask you this. If he played all year last year, how many games do you think we win?
6. Maybe 5.
Where would that have – do you think we beat the Bears with Daniel Jones?
Probably.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the other – what about the Eagles the second time? Like, I don't remember what the score was.
Let me look at the Giants' schedule.
We might have beaten Washington.
Yep. I think we would have won 5 or 6 had Jones never gotten.
Where does that put us?
Let me see.
Because he didn't really have a good year, and I still think we would have won. We would have won more than 4. I don't think we would have lost every game if he played the whole season. So I'm just kind of curious if that puts us at like 11th or 12th.
Yeah, I could see us getting there. I can't see us being like 16th or 7th.
Yeah, that'd be on the fringe of the playoffs.
Yeah, if Jones has a really bad year, I could see us 10, 11, maybe. But in that spot, you could probably still trade up.
Yeah.
You know, if you really like a quarterback, you could probably, it's very hard, I think, to trade up once you get into like that 17, 18,
Yes, that
19 area,
is difficult.
especially being that we don't have extra first round picks.
Right.
And the Bills, for example, I don't know what they traded up to get up from 21 to 12. I know what they traded up to go from 12 to 7. They had 2 second round picks. I don't think we have that. Like we don't have a ton of extra draft capital in next year's draft.
No.
So it's going to be very hard, I think, for the Giants to move up, you know, from the near, you know, the high teens to low 20s. If they're in that 10, 11 range, you could probably make a move and move up and get a quarterback. Let's see. I was thinking with additions of Neal and Tibbs. Yeah, listen, I could see us winning maybe 6 or 7 games if Jones isn't great this year. I don't even want to use the word great. If he's not much improved off of last year, maybe 6 or 7 games because our schedule is so soft. Ralph, thank you very much, man. Daniel Jones has thrown 3 picks in training camp. Locking on receivers cannot continue. We would have won more if Martinez did not get hurt. Yeah, well, not just Martinez. We had a lot of injuries last year.
We had a lot of injuries. Galladay, Tony, Jones,
Thomas
Barkley.
Yeah, we had a lot of injuries last year. So we'll see. But yeah, the picks I mean, again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to go crazy about picks in non-padded practices with receivers that he's never thrown to against an organized defense before in a brand new scheme. Some of those picks, for all we know, they're telling Daniel Jones to take shots and test the defense. I mean, it's practice. So I'm not reading too much into it. I understand people that say he's still looking down the receivers. That's potentially worrisome for sure. But I'm going to give this guy an opportunity this year to see how he does. We have no choice but to do so as fans. So I'm not going to start to be overly critical 3 practices in when he's not even wearing pads in a brand new scheme in an organized practice in which the New York Giants were simulating situations in 3rd and 9. Like, let's see how it plays out. And let's see how he grows in this scheme throughout the year.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, for me, it's not the interceptions that happens. It's the decision-making or, like you said, locking his eyes on the receiver. I haven't really seen a ton of Daniel Jones. So I don't know. And again, I doubt he's doing this in the preseason because he's not getting pressure. But like he can't pat the football when he gets under pressure. Can't get happy feet. And it's the indecisiveness that he's still showing the first few days in training camp. Like that worries me because that's a habit that he's got to break. And Dave, I thought and again, it's early, so maybe they can pound it through his head. Daniel, just go back and throw the ball. Stop thinking. I don't care if you throw the interceptions. Just be decisive with your throws and be confident. If you pick it, it gets picked off. It gets picked off. But don't think too much. Just go back there and react like you did your first game in the NFL when you tore Tampa Bay's defense apart. And he turned it over a couple of times. But you can live if Daniel Jones plays the way he did against Tampa Bay, his first game where he had a couple of turnovers, but he ran for a couple of touchdowns. I'm not saying he needs 4 touchdowns every game, but he got the ball in the end zone. He took some shots. He made some mistakes. If he does that, if he's a guy that's scoring and turning it over, I can live with it. I have a hard time living with, I'm scared.
We got to put points on the board. Points on the board. Yeah. If that comes,
I can live with the turnovers as long as we're scoring. Like, and he's got to get, like, we can't have the turnovers at like the worst times. Like, he's got bad timing on some of these interceptions, and his team's got to pick him up too. Because remember, man, he's had some games where his receivers let him down. Should have won that Washington game. He threw a perfect pass to Slayton, dropped. He ran for like a 40-yard touchdown, phantom holding call, called it back. He beat the Eagles a couple of years ago. Evan Ingham dropped the football. It's not all his fault, but again, I like when he just goes back and plays like he did against New Orleans last year. That's a Daniel Jones I want to see. Just go back and just play with confidence.
Yeah,
that's it.
And hopefully it had a lot to do with Judge and Garrett.
That's what I'm hoping.
I do think they made it a much more conservative offense because his rookie year, I thought he was too aggressive, and I thought his stats probably should have been even worse than they were because he made a lot of throws in his rookie year where I thought they dropped 4 or 5 interceptions.
Yeah, they did.
So I want to see more of that Daniel Jones from the rookie year where he goes back and slings it, but smarter. Like, I don't want you to have a record.
And in year 4, he should be. I mean,
I want him to combine what he did the last 2 years in terms of limiting turnovers. I know you're going to have a little bit more, but pair it up with the touchdowns that you had in your rookie year.
Yes.
That's what I need to see this year.
Yes.
Pete, man, he says Eagles supposedly have a top 8 roster with real Super Bowl aspirations. See, I'm going to disagree with that. I'm not. Their roster may be close to top 8. Possibly. I'd have to really look around the league because they are pretty strong in a lot of areas. They got a very good wide receiving core now with Bradbury. They have a pretty good secondary for sure. They're strong on the lines. So they have a good roster. I'm not going to say, but Super Bowl aspirations, no. I don't see the Eagles as a Super Bowl team with Jalen Hurts at the quarterback. I'm sorry. I look around the league. Is Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles knocking off, Matthew Stafford and the Rams on the road? Is he not? I don't see it. Is he
knocking off Aaron Rodgers and the
Aaron
Packers
Rodgers, Tom Brady
on the road
in the Super Bowl? I don't see it. Is he beating a guy like Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen? I don't see it.
Could they beat Dallas in a playoff game?
Yeah, I just don't see it. But I could at least understand somebody thinking they have at least close to a top 8 roster. I could get on board with that. As far as yet we hear they could very well be in the market for a quarterback. Well, which is it? Here's what I'll say, Pete. Just because they have a really good roster doesn't mean that they may not necessarily think they could have an upgrade at the quarterback position. If Jalen Hurts doesn't prove to be significantly improved with the added weapons that they've put on that Philadelphia Eagles team, being that they have 2 first-round picks, that's not going to stop them from going out and getting a significant upgrade at the quarterback position. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They were a playoff team with Alex Smith. They drafted Pat Mahomes.
Look at the Bills. They drafted
the
Josh
Packers.
Allen.
They took Aaron Rodgers when they had Brett Favre.
Right. And the Bills didn't have it, but the Bills made the playoffs and they went quarterback.
Yeah.
So it definitely happened because if a team feels like they're good enough and they have a top 10 roster, and the Eagles roster is very good, that's why I picked them to win the division. Made me throw up in my mouth a little bit when I had to say that, but I do believe from top to bottom they're the best team in our division on paper. Doesn't mean a lot. I don't have faith in Jalen Hurts. I never have going into the NFL. Again, I've said it a million times. It's got nothing to do with him being an Eagle. But if they feel like they got a really good roster and he's kind of holding them back and they're that quarterback away from doing it, I think that them getting 2 first-round picks next year was insurance just in case he wasn't, because they can let him walk. He was a second-round pick. He's not making any money. There's no big cap hit for that.
They could use him as a starter until the rookie's ready.
Right, or they could use him as a stopgap quarterback, a backup quarterback, whatever. But like Chris said, if they feel they can upgrade, if they can somehow get a CJ Stroud and they're like, this is the guy that's going to take us to the next level, definitely possible. If they feel that there's a rookie coming out that is going to be an upgrade, there's no reason to think that they wouldn't. Yeah,
you could be a playoff team and still think that you need to find a franchise quarterback.
Howie Roseman's done a great job. I can't say it. I think he's been amazing.
We hated on Roseman for
sucks. Eagles fans hated on Roseman,
but I will tip my cap, man. The Eagles have done a fantastic job the last 2 or 3 years accruing all the draft capital that they had. That they have over the last couple of years. They've robbed some teams in trades.
And they alleviated all that cap problem that they have, and
they've done a good job.
1 year they turned that around, so I give them credit.
I hate to admit
hate them.
They've done a good job,
but I give them credit.
John, I'm sorry if I missed the super chat, John. I'm sorry. He says my super chat was missed, but much love to you guys. The only bad thing is you root for the clown show Giants, but I always have you all backs, man. We appreciate it, man, and yeah, that's not changing, man. We're true blue.
Johnny, you're going to be a Giants fan though before it's over. We're going to get you to switch allegiances over here.
And Pete says people act like every good quarterback in the league only throws no-look passes. Not every throw where you're looking in the general area of the receiver is staring them down. Is he looking or staring? Yeah, well, listen, I'll say this. As far as Daniel Jones goes, there are times where he definitely locks on the receiver way too much. I will say the throw today, but we need to see it more often. But the throw today to Wandel Robinson, he actually did a great job of staring the defense off of Wandel Robinson, and he scanned the field. And there's definitely been times where I've seen Daniel Jones and I said, okay, he looks like he's improving in that area. And hopefully if the offensive line is a much better unit this year, it gives him more time to feel like he doesn't have a mental clock in his head and he feels like he could comfortably scan the field play to play. Hopefully that'll be the case, but there are definitely times where he stares down a target. No doubt about it. That's been a weakness of his.
I guess, Peter, you could look at it this way. If you see a cornerback jump the route, usually it's a sign that the quarterback's looking in that direction and they know what's coming. And that's what they said about the Darnay Holmes pick six, was that it looked like he knew the ball was going there because Daniel.
Well, that was a screen pass, right? Like, to me,
Well,
it looked like it was like a busted screen pass that Jones probably should have just thrown into the ground.
right.
Yeah.
Again, it's a decision. Again, you take it for what it's worth, but I think it was, they made the play obvious. Daniel Jones has to get better at looking off the safety. Daniel Jones has to get better at calling audibles at the line of scrimmage and blocking audibles to change up the blocking schemes if he thinks the defense knows what's coming. I always say Saquon Barkley had that huge year in 2018 because he was healthy, but I will go to my grave saying Eli Manning had a ton to do with that because Eli Manning knew how to set the blocking correctly for Barkley to succeed.
Of course.
Daniel Jones needs to get better at that. He needs to read defenses pre-snap and go, okay, this is where the blitz is coming from. This is the mic. We got to do this, shift this, pull over here, whatever the hell he's got to do. And he's got to try to put himself and his receivers or his running back in the best possible situation. But we'll see. Like he's got a lot to prove. We'll just put it that way. I'm not going to sit here and go the guy. I'm not going to go Pat Leonard and say Tyrod Taylor should be starting because that's BS. But Jones has to. He's got to be better.
He's got to become a guy that we can believe in long term. That's what he's got to become, and or at least start to show that he's getting there this year. That we'll see. Big Kane says, I really want to come to New York for y'all Fan Fest, but I will be attending the Thanksgiving game. Where can I send you all the videos? Stand up. Big Kane, man. Definitely stay active with the channel. And when you I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or if you have a Twitter handle. If you do, follow me, and you could always send me private messages. I know Baddog's active on Instagram as well. But yeah, man, I always love seeing the fan experience, and I hope you have a blast, man, when you go to the game in Dallas.
Big Kane, is that Big Kane as in that's gotta be Kane, the wrestler? I don't think so. I'm thinking that's Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane?
Big Daddy Kane. I go to work. I get the job done. That's right.
Pete says, point I'm trying to make is that if you don't have a franchise quarterback, you don't have a top 10 roster. Here's what I'll say, Pete. I think you can have a top 10 roster, but I don't think it's sustainable. Like, if you want to be a team...
I think the Ravens, it's different, but the 2000 Ravens had a top 10 roster.
Well, I think the 49ers last year are a perfect example. They had Jimmy Garoppolo, and they were this close to going to the Super Bowl. The Titans have been a top 10 roster for the last 3 or 4 years or so. They've had Ryan Tannehill, who I don't really view as a top 10 quarterback. There are instances, but it's not sustainable. If you want to be a team that is going to compete year in and year out, yes, you need a top 10 quarterback. Yeah. Are there, the Foles with the Eagles wasn't a top 10 quarterback. But to be able to do it year in and year out, to be a team that puts its, you put your name in the hat year in and year out. Every year Tom Brady's going to have a chance. Every year when Peyton Manning was playing, he's going to have a chance. Aaron Rodgers, he's at least going to have a chance.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Pat
Mahomes.
Is there a one-off a year here and there where you can? Yes. But if you want to be a team that's going to do it year in and year out, you need that top 10 quarterback.
But I see what he's saying. He's saying Jalen Hurts sucks. And they're not a top 8 franchise because Jalen Hurts sucks.
They're not a Super Bowl contender. I agree with that. They're not. I think they're.
I'm just putting words in his mouth.
Yeah, I think they're a team that.
I do think that's what he's saying is that he's not a very good quarterback. So because he's on the roster, they're not a top 10 roster because he kind of takes him out of the top 10 area. Outside of the quarterback, yes, they're pretty stacked.
And reality. I just showed it earlier. It was awesome. The coolest part was going on there and seeing all the comments. All the comments.
They're all, there's Tane at 154.
Nobody's commented on any of the highlights of the videos. They're like, Tane is in the video. It was cool. Let's see. He says, in the modern NFL, I believe that's completely true at this point. Like I said, I think there's a one-off year where you can do it, but it's not a good idea. Let's put it that way. You want to have a top 10 quarterback to be able to compete year in and year out. That should be the objective. If you don't have a top 10 quarterback and you have the ability to upgrade, you should do it. Obviously depending on your team situation in terms of trades and things like that. Oh, Pete, man, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. He says, it's so frustrating. Duke kid's cerebral game is supposed to be his strong suit. Meanwhile, Allen, Mahomes are clearly not brainiacs, yet have no problems with the mental processing. DJ's an enigma wrapped in a mystery, and that rapper is dog shit. I mean, Allen and Mahomes are just freaks in terms of physical skill set. Those guys don't come around every so often. But being school smart or book smart, which obviously you are if you're going to Duke, and football smart are two completely different things.
They're very different.
Having a feel for the game and being able to anticipate the pressure and read it's completely different than reading books and going to school. And when you have the physical talent of a guy like Josh Allen or a guy like Pat Mahomes, you can get away with certain things that most quarterbacks can't.
Right. Justin Herbert's another one. I don't know how great Oregon is.
Yeah.
But he's another guy.
He's a really
I don't know how good LSU is as far as academics go. You got a guy like Joe Burrow. But then again, if you put it all together, you could get a guy like Andrew Luck, who went to Stanford, and John Elway, who went to Stanford, and they were fantastic.
Didn't Herbert have a doctorate or something like that?
Oh, he could have. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know how well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm sure that Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes are smart guys anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
But like you said, adapting to a football playbook and adapting to, like college curriculum, they're different things. I don't think that I just think Daniel Jones's reactionary time is too slow at this point. I think that's always been his issue. I don't think he's not smart. I think he works hard. I think that he tries. I don't think it's for a lack of effort. I don't think it's because physically he can't do it. I just think he's too hesitant. I don't think he believes in himself. And I think if that ever clicks, and it may never click here. He may suck again. He may be gone. He may catch on somewhere at age 28. He figures it out, and then he's good. That's really all, to me, that's what's holding him back, is his confidence. If he ever gets his damn confidence, I think he can be a very good quarterback. I've steadfast on that the whole time. I've never said this guy can't play. It's this for him.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what I'm hoping is getting a play caller in here that could get the most out of his abilities, like Alex Smith when he got Jim Harbaugh. Alex Smith was ready to be out of the league. I mean, he was a bad quarterback. Go back and look at the numbers before Jim Harbaugh got there. Jim Harbaugh completely changed his career around. Now, granted, they still took Colin Kaepernick, but then he went on to be a multi-time Pro Bowler with the Kansas City Chiefs. He ended up being a really good quarterback. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a change and bringing in a much better offensive play caller, a much better offensive scheme, starting to shore up that offensive line. I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Allen, but could make Daniel Jones a quarterback that's good and can win football games. That's what I'm hoping.
I'll be honest. I think this depends on Jones and not the scheme. I just feel like he's good enough. Daniel Jones can play. He's got a good, is it the greatest arm? Is it an elite arm? Is it a Josh Allen or a Mahomes arm? Is it a Kyler Murray arm? Can he throw 60 yards down the field with a quick hip torque and a sling like Kyler Murray? Can he run like Kyler Murray? No. Can he throw like Herbert? No. But he doesn't need to be that. Joe Montana didn't have the strongest arm. Peyton Manning didn't have the strongest arm. And I'm not comparing him to those guys either. What's that?
Quarterback ever, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, he had a big head, big brain. But physically, Jones is – this is why I thought when Jones started with the Giants, this is why I made those videos. He'll be better than Trubisky. He'll be better than Dwayne Haskins, God rest his soul. He'll be better than Sam Darnold. I said all that. I thought he'd be better than – seriously, I was not trolling. I honestly thought that he could be better than Dak Prescott. I felt like his tools were good enough. He's accurate down the field. He throws a nice pass. He can run a little bit. His instincts fail him. His confidence fails him. This is what, and again, people don't need to agree with me. That's okay. Not everybody's going to agree with me all the time. That's just my take. This is what I see. I always say when I do a video or a live stream, all I'm projecting is what I see as a fan. This is what my eyes are telling me. Now, everybody's eyes tell you a different story. Again, it's why he aggravates me so much, because it's me one thing of like with Hurts, for instance. I don't think Hurts has great mechanics. I don't think Hurts throws a good deep ball. I don't think Hurts' arm is fantastic down the field. Like, I feel like Jones is better at all those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like Hurts's instincts are way better than Daniel Jones's.
Yeah.
So if you could give Daniel Jones Hurts's like instinctual ability to get out of the pocket and make plays with his legs when need be, or extend plays, he'd be a top 15 quarterback at least.
Yeah.
He's got to do that. He's got to do that.
Yeah. He's got to take the jump.
That's it. He aggravates the shit out of me, guys. I don't know what else to say because I know physically I know the guy can play. I know he can play. I know it's in there. Yeah. Gotta hope that Kafka and Dable can get it the hell out of him. What does Miyagi say in part 3? You best karate student inside. Now time let out. Daniel Jones, sweep the leg. Let your best karate out. You got to make the game. Just let it go.
That's one show I know you watch.
Cobra Kai, yes.
I think the new season comes out soon.
Oh, good.
I think I saw a promo for it on Netflix. Not like a preview, but I saw an ad for it. So
awesome.
I got into that show.
My wife and I will binge that one Sunday. We'll just watch all 10 episodes.
I love that show. The show's great.
It's amazing.
King John, man, what's going on? He says, yo, Tana, you do a 24-hour stream. I can't imagine what you would do when you hit 100K.
48-hour stream.
Yeah, no, probably another 24 hours. No way I could do more than 24 hours.
Yeah,
but
Dan always tells me to do 48. There, whenever I finish 24 hours, like, go another 24.
I promised a long time ago I would do it. I'd have to map it out, but I will do it if I ever hit 50K. I will do it.
Piece of cake. You got this.
Piece of cake. Simple.
You're training for it already.
Yeah, it's true.
You're getting in shape. You're walking. You're building up the endurance. You got this.
Can't wait.
Just what I would say
is another. What I do today? I did about 10 miles today.
I got the perfect time for you because you're going to hit 50,000 this season, and you talked about this before. Do it during the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the play-by-play for every game, but
but do it.
Watch along. Yeah,
it'll give you 14 hours of basketball to hang out, watch games, talk about whatever. It'll keep you busy. That's what you got to do during a 24-hour stream.
Plus that's near the draft, so you got football to talk about.
Stay busy.
You got maybe
that's a good time to do it. But you got NBA basketball, you got spring training. There's a lot of stuff to keep you occupied. The toughest one for me was during COVID. I had nothing. I had rugby or Australian rules football. I remember I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on.
I keep seeing
you can do it.
I think I'll be able to do it. I keep seeing people in the chat talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. NFL memes just tweet. I don't care. NFL memes? Come on.
Why?
I care what NFL memes has to say. We're not trading.
I don't understand why people think we would take Garoppolo. It just doesn't make sense. That's a Gettleman. I don't think Gettleman would do that.
Grim Solo says the difference between Jones and the guys you named without elite arms is processing. Those guys are elite at post-snap processing. Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly.
There's no better processor probably than Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Peyton Manning are the best processors I've ever seen. Now, Aaron Rodgers so happens to also be a physical freak, right. but yeah, he's also great at that. But yeah, no, I mean, Dan Jones got to get better in that department.
Yes,
no doubt about it.
But I know he can do it, and that again, this why I'm so hard on him. It's tough love, man. I mean, listen, I know that they watch because Chris's tweet said that they watched that the coach used to show their bar. No, but seriously, I know physically Daniel Jones is good enough to win this league, and I really just want to see him go out and put it all together and have a great freaking year and make the Giants great again. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I don't want to have to draft a quarterback next year. I want to push forward, but we need to see a lot. Mike says Nakobe Dean's an 82, Tibbs is a 76. Matt, that's stupid.
I've never understood what the big deal about the Madden ratings are. Like,
they're
video game programmers, not NFL guys.
Do you know the guys that do the Madden ratings are diehard Cowboy fans?
Oh, I assumed.
Yeah, they are. So, they're gonna have their biases. They're gonna, so whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't get that. But it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't bother me. It's just a bunch of computer nerds that are.
I guess the best thing to ask is what are their Super Tech Mobile ratings, because that's really the only game that matters when it comes to football.
Yeah.
Super Tecmo Bowl is the greatest football game ever made. That's right. I'm old.
Jordan, the two goes back for another year. Appreciate the content, both you. And here's to another season. Can't wait, Jordan, man. We're preseason. We just said it's 12 days away.
Yep, we're ready to go, man. Appreciate you being back for another year, guys and girls. Another year of Giants football. Is it going to be another year of pain, or are we going to enjoy some happiness this year?
Hopefully happiness. Let's see. Where would Jimmy G go? I think it's two teams for Jimmy G. Maybe this changes, but I think it's two teams for Jimmy G. I think it's either Seattle, who desperately needs a quarterback right now, or the Cleveland Browns with Watson suspended. I think it makes sense, and I think it makes a lot of sense for Jimmy G to want to go there because they have a good support system. They got a good offensive line, a good ground game. Garoppolo lands there and has a good year. He may land some, he may get a good contract the following year. So that's my mindset. I think one of those two teams. Pete says first DJ fell on his face, and I thought it can't get worse. Then a quarterback sneaked in on our end zone. Bringing in Jimmy G would just be the kiss of embarrassment for the franchise, the New York Football Browns. We're not doing that.
You got to worry about that, Peter. Right?
We're not doing that. I mean, here's what I'll say. It's more probable, and I don't want this to happen, but it's more probable Garoppolo would be a Giant next year as opposed to this year. Yeah. The reason I say that is next year he's going to be a free agent. Next year we'll have some cap space, and if Daniel Jones stinks and they're not in a position to draft a quarterback, maybe they sign him on a 1 or 2 year deal to be a stopgap, hold me over quarterback. But this year, it's not happening. And I don't think it's happening next year either, but it's more possible next year. This year, not happening.
Great point.
Milkman says, hey, guys, who do you think the Tanks, I think you mean to say Yanks, the Yanks and Mets will get at the deadline? Milkman, what's going on, man?
Well, you guys got Naquin already. We got Benintendi.
Solid pickup.
I think the Yankees are going to add a pitcher, whether that be a Montez or Ogan. I also think they're going to try to get middle relievers.
Yeah.
Like David Robertson. I definitely see David Robertson going back. I think Baddog is going to cost too much money or too many prospects. Like he'll be expensive. I could see Daniel Bard going to the Mets. That'd be one hell of a back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, I think the Mets are definitely going to add another arm in the bullpen.
I also think you're getting Wilson Contreras. I think that
I could see him. We're definitely adding another arm in the bullpen, if not two, but we're definitely adding at least one. We're gonna get an eighth inning guy, like a legitimate eighth inning guy.
Bard.
Or Robertson. We're gonna get one of these guys. And I think we're gonna get a bat. I know we've added a couple of lefty bats, but I think we're gonna get a legitimate 5-hole bat. It could be Mancini, it could be Contreras, it could be JD Martinez,
it could be Gallo.
No.
I try to throw that in there.
I think we're gonna add a legitimate number 5 bat from the right side, preferably. One name I'll throw out there that I haven't seen anybody talk about, and he's not like a great bat, but I feel like he's a decent bat that wouldn't cost a ton, and we need a right-handed stick. San Francisco came out today and said basically they're selling, right? They put 2 names. How about a reunion with Wilmer Flores? He's got 15 home runs this year. He's got a 770 OPS. He's not going to cost you much. He's not very young. He's a fan favorite. And I think he is a pretty significant upgrade over J.D. Davis. That wouldn't cost you much. So that was the name I was thinking about today. I'm like, how about Wilmer Flores?
What about Aaron Hicks? He's a switch hitter. He can a little bit. No interest in Aaron Hicks.
No interest. No interest in Aaron Hicks. No interest.
Yeah, I've heard Syndergaard for the Yankees. I really don't want Syndergaard. I honestly don't. I think the Yankees are done. I don't think they need to add another bat. I'll be surprised if they do. But the pitching, we definitely need another starting pitcher to go behind Garrett Cole. Nestor Cortez is in uncharted territory. Jameson Taillon's been very bad the last couple of months. Jordan Montgomery can't go deep into games. He has also not pitched well. Severino's coming off another injury. So our starting rotation is Cole, who also has these bad innings. Gives up these bad home runs. And then we got a bunch of 3 and 4 guys. I don't really know if we have a solid number 2. So I do think the Yankees are going to try to get Montez from Oakland. We'll see. Yeah. I think both the Yankees and Mets are going to be very active
Yeah, for
at
sure.
the trade.
I know the Mets have made 2 moves and the Yankees have made 1, I think.
Yeah,
But
Benintendi was there.
I don't think neither of us are close to done. I don't think neither of us have made our biggest splash yet either. I think you're going to add a legitimate. I don't know if you're going to get a number 2. When I say 2, I mean like playoff 2. I mean, like, I don't know if you'll be able to get a
Castillo was the only playoff 2.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get a pitcher of that caliber, but I think you'll get a good pitcher. And I think the Mets will get a very good 8th inning guy and hopefully a bat to go with it. David, man, thank you very much, man. Just dropping in to say hi. This seems like a weird preseason to me. Well, hi. First off, hi to you, David, man. Thanks for popping in. Really don't know what to expect. Do you see the Giants bringing in any free agent veterans? Yankee question for Baddog. Will Judge be a Yankee next year? I'll let you answer the Yankee question first, and then we'll get into the Giant.
Yeah, he will be. Because I said the only way the Yankees are not going to do everything they can to bring Judge back next year is if they traded for Juan Soto. Soto will be 23 years old. Judge is going to be 31 next year. He's a free agent. You would let him walk. Soto would still be under, player control for the next couple of years. The Yankees could extend him, but you'd rather give that money to a 23-year-old lefty with all that power in Yankee Stadium as opposed to a 31-year-old righty. Not that Judge isn't great, but Judge will definitely be, because Yankees are getting Soto. Nobody's getting Soto. Maybe in the offseason when other teams can put together packages and there's a lot more interest, like everybody can be involved in it, drive the price up. Judge is going to be a Yankee next year and for the foreseeable future. I could see 8 years, $330 million. Something stupid.
Yeah.
But maybe 350. It's going to be something insane, but I do think they're going to come to an agreement.
I honestly can't foresee a scenario after the year that he's had where he's not a Yankee. They're gonna have to bite the bullet and pay him.
They're gonna have to,
and it's gonna be and there's gonna be a portion of that contract where it's a bad contract. But you have to realize
it was with Cano.
Yeah, you have to realize that before you sign it, you hope that you get incredible production for the first half of it.
Pujols with the Angels.
That's what. To me, it seems like a Pujols type of deal with the Angels, where the first 3 or 4 years you got great production, and then he tailed off. And that's what you're gonna probably get with Judge, but. You got to pay him. I mean, he's your closest thing to Jeter since Jeter. He's a homegrown guy. Yep. He's probably going to win the American League MVP this year. He
might break Maris's Yankee record for homers.
Really good chance to break that record. So you're going to pay him. He's going to get paid. As far as the weird preseason, you really don't know what to expect. Do you see the Giants bringing in any free? I do. I don't know if they're going to be starters per se, but yes, I do think they're going to fill. They're going to bring in a couple more players via free agency, whether it be guys that get cut from other teams or maybe some guys that haven't caught on with teams quite yet. If I had to guess, probably a cornerback, a veteran corner, I could certainly see being added to this group. But the starters, I think they're going to go with the guys that they currently have on this roster for the most part. You're already into training camp, but they may bring in a couple. I think they will bring in a couple of depth pieces, specifically veterans, maybe similar to something what we did with Logan Ryan a couple of years ago when it was late in the process. Yeah, and if I had to guess, it would be at the cornerback spot.
Yeah, I think we would address the secondary at some point. Like Chris said, maybe somebody gets cut from a team, and the Giants we could definitely bring him in here. It ain't going to be any massive move, but yeah, it'll be mostly for depth pieces.
Yeah, I don't see them bringing in like another starter at least at the cornerback position. Maybe the tight end spot is possible. They brought in Ebron for a visit. Tight end spot's definitely possible, especially if they have an injury to that position because we're really thin there right now.
Yeah.
Bellinger looks to be the tight end 1 as of now. He's getting a lot of reps with the first unit in camp. But I could see us maybe adding a veteran tight end as well.
Yep.
Let's see. We got Lindor. Yeah, Lindor to bomb today, Pete. Let's see. Syndergaard is not going to. No, I don't think Syndergaard's going to the Mets. Syndergaard might go to the Yankees.
The Yankees, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to the Mets.
I don't think he'll go to the Yankees either, but that's a name that's been kicked around. Somebody also said sneaky signing for the Yankees, Madison Bumgarner.
Is he even decent now? I don't even know.
No, he's not what he used to be.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the greatest playoff pitchers of all time in his prime. But yeah, I don't think why would the Mets? I'm not trying to brag, but I don't think the Mets need any starters. I mean, you're
getting DeGrom back. That's your addition.
Max DeGrom. Bassett's been pitching great his last 3 or 4 times out, and he's a very good pitcher. And Walker has a 2.5 ERA. He was a borderline all-star this year. So I don't think we need to upgrade in the starting rotation. I think we need to upgrade in the bullpen, and I think we need to upgrade with one righty bat. That's what I think we need. Dane Belton.
Or you could get Gallo.
Joe says Dane Belton starting with the ones. Yeah, I don't know if he's getting full time with the ones, but yes, he's definitely getting some reps with the ones, as evidence of picking off Daniel Jones today. Name a more iconic duo than the Giants in injuries. That beats out peanut butter and jelly. Hurts
Spaghetti and meatballs is pretty good.
All right, we got a random basketball question. I'll answer it real quick. LeBron versus MJ, 1-1 versus 1. Who you got? That's a tough one-on-one, because it's a completely different game than a 5-on-5, which is really the only way I can analyze these two players. 5-on-5, I'm taking Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is probably the clutchest shooter ever. As good of a defender as LeBron is, Michael Jordan's even better. He won Defensive Player of the Year, 6 times?
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
He was an incredible defender. LeBron's a better passer, probably. I'll give him that. And a better rebounder simply because of his size. But I'm going Jordan all day on 5-on-5. 1-on-1, I'll probably still go Jordan. He's got that competitive there has never been a more competitive athlete than Michael Jordan. I would never bet against Michael Jordan. So I would go Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I would too, because the will to win. I mean, listen, watching that Jeter documentary, they talked to Jordan, and they mentioned there's those guys that they are never, they can't win enough. Jeter was one of those guys. Jordan was one of those guys. Tiger Woods was one of those guys. What do they all have in common? They all won a ton of championships, right? That's just what it is. Some guys are wired differently. They don't accept losing, and they don't like losing. It doesn't matter if it's one game. Any basketball team going to go 82-0? Absolutely not. And run the gamut of the playoffs without losing? Absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, in 1996, the Bulls won the championship, and I can tell you 10 times Michael Jordan was pissed off in the regular season when they lost those 10 games. He didn't like losing in practice. He didn't like losing at all. He didn't like losing at golf, poker, whatever the hell he was doing. Most competitive guy in the room. So I just think Jordan's will to win would have him take LeBron James.
He was the most competitive athlete of all time.
It's just ridiculous.
Like, he bet on everything. He was like, and it wasn't because he was necessary. I mean, I guess he was a gambling addict, but it wasn't because it was more for the competitiveness.
Right.
He just needed to compete in everything he did.
He wanted to make it interesting with money, but yes.
Yeah, he wanted to compete in everything he did.
Yep. And he never wanted to lose.
Yeah, I would never bet against Michael Jordan. Never. But Slink says, entertainer, I want great, not good. I don't see anything that tells me Jones can be great. Maybe he'll be good, but I agree with that. Slink, but it's circumstance for me. It's if the Giants end up picking 20th in next year's draft because we made the playoffs, more than likely you're not going to be able to get one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in next year's draft. With all the quarterback-hungry teams, maybe you could try to trade up, but every team is going to try to trade up if it's that rich of a quarterback draft class. As I said all of last offseason, it's the same mindset for me in every draft. Don't force a quarterback pick. So if you're in that spot, you push forward with Jones for another year, and maybe he continues to grow. Who knows? But I agree with you. I wouldn't have signed Dak to an extension. So how could I say I'd signed Daniel Jones? I wouldn't have signed Kyler Murray to an extension. In my opinion, to justify paying a quarterback nearly 20% of your team's cap, he's got to be able to put the team on his back and carry you to a Super Bowl, because you are at such an advantage when you have a quarterback on a rookie salary. And there's maybe 5 quarterbacks in the NFL that can do that. That's just the truth. There's like 5 that can do that. Like, put the team on their back when you have a lot of deficiencies on your roster.
Correct.
So, yeah, I agree with you, but it also has to set up properly. You don't want to force a quarterback pick. And if you're in a spot where you can't get a guy that you feel could be a top 5 quarterback, and Jones played pretty well, and obviously in that scenario he did, you push forward with him for another year until such time you're in that position to go up and get that guy that you could feel be that 15 to 20-year answer.
Right. Can't say it better than you just said it.
Yeah.
It's facts.
Yeah. Craig, man, what's going on, man? Giants aren't better than the Dallas or the Eagles. Well, good to see you, Craig, man. Awesome dude, man. Always see you on Twitter. Says best case, he gets franchise tag. Dak, yeah, that's my mindset as well. Now, if he doubles it up and gets better the following year, maybe then you talk a 3 or 4 year extension. but I agree. After this year, its franchise tag is probably all I could see.
Yeah.
Or like I've said before, a 2 or 3 year deal where you could get it after one, which is essentially a franchise tag anyway. I see no more than a 1 year commitment after this year for Daniel Jones if he plays good enough for the Giants to do that.
Yeah, the other thing is Dak and Murray both brought their teams to the playoffs.
Yeah, and Murray's upside is very good. I'm not trying to discount
Murray's. Yeah, he's ridiculously talented.
But I'm not. But would I have given him $46 million a year?
Somebody was going to.
Yeah, somebody was going to. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out if he's worth that money. And by the market, I understand technically he is worth the money because that's what they get.
Right.
But if I was a GM, would I be in love of shelling out that much money to a guy that I'm not sure whether or not he could? Like, I don't think
that GM did pick him, so I mean,
yeah, I don't think Dak could carry a team on his back. I don't
either.
I don't, and that's why I thought it was a bad contract. But I obviously completely understand why the Cowboys did it. Quarterbacks don't grow on trees. It's not easy to find them. But are you going to win a Super Bowl with Dak making 15 to 20% of your team's cap? It's going to be hard.
It'll be tough.
Look with Stafford. He couldn't win with the Lions. Matt Ryan, he got close, but then he got that big contract with the Falcons. Didn't win much after the fact.
Right.
It's tough, man. You got to be elite to be able to carry your team with a contract like that.
Yep. Russell Wilson's another one. I mean, they were good, but didn't get back to the Super Bowl after he got paid.
Yeah. NFL expert says, Chris, mad hype for FanFest. I'm 16. Would it be okay for me and my boys to pull up, crack a few Bud Lights? I mean, well, I ain't giving you a Bud Light. I ain't going to jail, man. If you get Bud Lights from someone else, just don't, but I ain't giving you no beers.
I can tell you this, he's 16 when he talks about beer and mentions Bud Light. That shows an inexperienced beer drinker.
Yeah. I could drink Bud Light, but it's like 100th on my list. You got to go with higher quality than that.
Yeah. If I'm, I ran 6 miles and it's 98 degrees and I'm just really thirsty and I got nothing else. Yeah. If I run 5.5 miles, I probably just wouldn't drink anything, but 6 miles. Yeah. Then you give me the Bud Light.
Bud Light's water anyway. So if you don't have bottled water in your house, you down a Bud Light after you get home from your jog.
It's not good. It's not my first choice.
My first beer I ever had was a Corona. I remember that. That's my first beer I ever had was a Corona.
Sam Adams for me.
Sam Adams. Okay.
Sam Adams for me.
The Big Moose says.
Then we moved on to being young and buying cheap stuff. So Molson Ice. That was a big one when I was young.
I had Bush. Oof.
Big Bear.
Light.
Yeah, Big Bear. St. Ides.
I don't remember any of that.
Old English is malt liquor.
Oh, okay.
It's 99 cents for a 40. You just,
All right. There's a question from Wolf. Most underrated. I think we might agree on this because I think we've talked about this before. Okay, I'll start. When you say cheap, you're talking like $6 for a 6-pack, $7 for a 6-pack. I'll go Yingling. I like Yingling. PBR is growing me a bit, but I'm gonna go Yingling for like a cheap beer. It's got some flavor. It's not beating out a lot of other beers for me, but if you're on a budget, you're 21 years old, I think Yingling's pretty good.
You mentioned it, PBR, man. I think PBR is probably the best cheap beer you can get. I know, again, your price is down there way different than mine. Mine are still expensive, but they're not Long Island, New York City expensive. But you could probably get a 12-pack of PBR cans up here for $7.99. So less than $1 a beer. Pretty good. So that would be my call. Rolling Rock's not the worst as far as cheaper goes. Yingling's not the worst. But yeah, those would be the best. Do not drink Milwaukee's Best. Don't drink anything with ice in it. Don't drink anything that has the name Ice. Don't drink Bud Ice. Don't drink Molson Ice. Don't drink Milwaukee's Best Ice. Any beer that has ice in it, stay away from it.
I don't think this qualifies as a cheap beer, Dor, but I would have said it. I like Stella, but
Stella's not cheap.
Yeah, it's more it's definitely
Stella's like $10.
It's at least a mid-tier beer in terms of expense.
As far as like that's not a domestic beer, but when you're not talking craft beers and IPAs, that's one of the higher priced beers you're going to get.
Yeah,
Stella,
it's
Heineken,
comparable to
Corona,
Heineken.
Modelo, they're all in that
It's
category.
Heineken price. Same
Yeah.
price as
Yep.
Which
Corona price, Modelo price, Sam Adams price, they're all about the same.
Yeah, I'm not a big Heineken guy. I'll say that. I'm not
I
a big
like
Heineken guy.
I like a good.
I could drink it, but
It's
I'm not.
skunky. It sucks, but there's nothing like a good. Like when we do the draft, that's usually what I would drink was
You go
4
with the
pints of
Heine?
Heineken. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It just smells a little weird to me when you open it
Well,
up.
it's number one, get cans because I've said this before for all you young beer drinkers that are 21 and legally able to do it. I can give you a tip. If you drink beer that has a green or clear bottle, make sure you go into the back of the cooler and get one off the bottom. Because the reason they become skunky is because the light gets into the clear bottle and it messes up the freaking beer. So if you want to make sure that's fresh, buy cans. That's the best way to prevent getting a skunky beer because the light can't penetrate the can. You'll never get a skunky can of Heineken unless it's been sitting there for like a year. That shouldn't happen. Same thing with Corona. Same thing with Modelo. Same thing with Stella. Peroni.
I love
any
Peroni.
of them. Yeah, Peroni's fantastic.
Yeah.
But make sure you get the ones either in a can or outside that are not exposed to the light, and you ain't got to worry about it. But that's why your Heineken smell funny.
All right. So I keep seeing people in the chat coming in saying the Giants are in talks with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't see it from any credible source. So I will wait. I very much doubt it. But yeah, I haven't seen it from any credible source. Alien Man, thank you very much. It says the Giants will eliminate the Eagles from playoff contention in the final week of the season. Revenge for 2020 when the Eagles tanked against Washington.
That'd be the greatest thing ever. And then in that double twist, we make the playoffs.
Yeah. That'd be great. But yeah, that potentially will be a possibility. Even if the Giants suck this year, we do play the Eagles the last game of the year. And maybe it is a game that they need, to get in, whether, to beat out Dallas for the division or whatever. So I would love nothing more than to ruin their season. That'd be great.
That would be fantastic. We just have not won in Philadelphia, and I don't remember how long, and that's where that game is.
Another beer that we like is Guinness, right? You like Guinness, right?
I'm not the biggest fan of Guinness, and it's not because I don't like the taste. I don't like the fact it's not carbonated. Like, I don't like the fact that the nitrogen ball pulls all the carbonation out of the beer because I always feel like it's flat, and it is flat. I mean, I like the taste of it. I like the taste of Murphy's stout too, but it's the same type of thing. It's just, I don't know, the lack of carbonation. I don't like it.
I love Guinness.
So
I love it. I could drink Guinness. I mean, I know most people say it's a winter beer. I could drink Guinness all year round. I love Guinness.
Yeah, they say dark beers are winter beers, but I could drink oatmeal stout all year round too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have Browns down there. Browns is an upstate New York brewery. I think it's in Latham. Just like Druthers. We have a lot of Druthers is upstate. What's the other one? Adirondack Pub is up in Lake George. Like they make beer. It's pretty good. But yeah, I could drink a stout any time of the year.
For sure. And Zach says thoughts. Yeah, we talked about this earlier, Zach, and we pretty much had the same thought process for the most part. Maybe I was a little more harsh on him than Baddog was, but we were pretty much the same thought process. Zach is, and my thought process is it's way too early to be as harsh as he was. Like he should not be opening up the conversation to potentially replace Daniel Jones 3 practices in which you haven't even put the pads on in a brand new scheme and to receivers that he has not thrown to in a setting off of a practice where they were only doing 3rd and long in terms of the simulation, which is obviously going to make it much harder on the offense as opposed to the defense. The defense is clearly at an advantage in that. So it was ridiculous to come out with an article suggesting that they move on from Daniel Jones before they even put their pads on. Ridiculous. It's clickbait. That's what it is. Yeah. Of course, there's going to be there's a niche of the fan base, probably about 10 to 15%, that are dying to see Daniel Jones replaced for whoever, and they cling to that and they're excited about it, and they probably agree with it. But I think the majority of Giants fans thinks it's absurd and ridiculous to say that that early before we even put pads on.
Yeah, I said I understand Pat Leonard being critical of Daniel Jones. I do get that. If you're just looking at his body of work and he hasn't really looked very good, he hasn't been great. Maybe he hasn't been awful, but he's kind of been uneven. I get the criticism, but saying that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter at any point unless Daniel Jones is hurt or it's at the end of the year and we have nothing to play for It's stupid. Tyrod Taylor is not better than Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor will not start.
And Tyrod, even if they felt Tyrod Taylor was even with Daniel Jones, which I don't think he is, but I can understand people thinking it. Tyrod Taylor's gonna be 33 years old.
Yeah.
Like Tyrod Taylor is not part of the future, and I'm definitely leaning more towards the fact that Daniel Jones will not be part of the future of this team either at the quarterback position. But at least there's a chance. Right. Tyrod Taylor, there's no chance. He is a journeyman backup quarterback at this point. That's what he is. He's a guy that teams have brought in to mentor their young rookie quarterbacks at his last several stops. That's what he is. So I don't understand why any Giant fan would be excited to see Tyrod Taylor. I'm not telling you to be excited to see Daniel Jones, but there's nothing in terms of future growth and building with a guy like Tyrod Taylor. He's in here to be the backup. And I saw somebody in the chat says that he's not Joe Schoen's quarterback. That is true. He was not drafted by Joe Schoen, but Joe Schoen has come out since day one and has said Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback. He said that he brought in Tyrod Taylor to be the backup. And some fans didn't want to hear that. They said, oh, they're going to draft Malik Willis. They're going to draft this guy. He told the truth then. I think he's telling the truth now. Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback.
Agreed.
Vienna says, remember this prediction. Cowboys 13-4, Giants 11-6, Eagles 9-8, Commanders 6-11. It's the future. From your lips to God's ears, Vienna.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Delia. Yeah, sure. Maybe slightly better, but like you said, there's no reason to play him. Sure. He's had success in the past. He made the playoffs with the Bills. Daniel Jones at this point is a higher, let's put it this way, much more upside than Tyrod Taylor.
Agreed. We know what Tyrod Taylor is. We're still hoping that Daniel Jones can be I'm hoping he can be what I think he can be if he gets his crap right between his ears.
Yeah.
It's just that 6 inches of gray matter between that thing. I feel like everything else that he does is fine. But that 6 inches in between his damn ears, man, it hinders him.
Yeah. Tay, and we're going to close this out in like 2 minutes. Tay says, hey, Chris or Baddog, if you could trade for one player, is it Ohtani or Soto? All right, let me look, because this is like the third time I got asked this. Ohtani's 28. Soto's 5 years younger.
I've heard, I don't think Ohtani's going anywhere, but I've heard them talking about how, that'd be the Yankees' dream scenario. Soto's not going anywhere this year. I think Washington's just going to wait. He's not a free agent. So he's there next year, and Washington might as well just sit back and let every team in the offseason make a run at him.
Yeah. I'm going with Soto, just on the age difference alone, and the fact that Ohtani. I don't know Soto's injury history off the top of my head.
I would take Soto over Ohtani any day.
Yeah, Ohtani's 5 years older, and he suffered injuries already. Like
he's not Juan Soto.
Yeah, you're going Soto. Grim says Pat Leonard is a professional troll, thieves off clicks. It's bizarre. Respected beat guys mingle with him. Renan, Duggan, amongst others, have to see it. Yeah, I don't get it. In terms of people that mingle with him and people that still listen to him. And I don't even know how he's still employed, but I guess the reason he's still employed is because he makes such outlandish takes that we inevitably talk about it. Not us, not you and me, Bad Dog, but just as Giants fans, people talk about it because he comes out with such ridiculous claims. And at the end of the day, the Daily News probably only cares about clicks. And he brings them clicks because he comes out with articles like that brings up conversation in the deadest time of the football season before we start playing preseason games. That's the only reason I could come up with why the guy's still employed. But yeah, he's ridiculous. And this is not the first. He does this every year. I remember he came out with an article after the incident where they went to the bar. Remember during COVID, they went to the bar and he destroyed. I don't remember if it was Saquon or Jones. It was one or the other. He destroyed, I think it was Daniel Jones, destroyed Daniel Jones for his handling of it in terms of how he answered to the media and things. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it was 5 weeks after the incident that he did it. He always looks for clicks. He always looks to stir up drama. And Giants fans know this. We're educated at this point.
I can tell you this. This is I don't know anything about Pat Leonard. This is really the first time I've heard of him. So that tells you he must not be. I don't pay attention. Renan and Duggan, yes, I know who they are, and I pay attention to them. Same thing with Peter King, but I really don't know who Leonard. I didn't know anything about Leonard until a couple days ago when he made that. And I saw it, and I was just like, oh, he's not happy, but.
What's up, Avith, man? Good to see you, man. I just saw that. Let me look real quick. What do you think, Baddog? Let me pull this up real quick. He says I look like young Joker. Let's take a quick look at young Joker.
I think that maybe young Joker looks like you because you've been around longer. So
let's take a quick look at young Joker real quick.
Let's take a look.
Let me share the screen real quick, Baddog. Hold on.
All right, let's see.
Let's take a quick look here. Let's see. Let me turn my head that way.
There's definitely a resemblance.
You think so?
Yeah, you both have eyes, a nose,
Yeah.
cheekbones.
Yeah.
It's
Hold on,
pretty like, I'd be honest.
Hold on.
Now I can't tell you apart. Which one is which? I don't know.
I don't know, Bavith. You might be on to something, man.
It's close.
You might be on to something, Bavith, man. I don't know, man. I'll get back to you on that. That's a good one, Bavith. I'll let you know, man. Let's go down there, Tommy, man. But guys, it is 12:12. This is usually when we close out about 15 minutes after the hour. He says, spitting image, are you his? I might be his father. But yeah, thank you guys so much, man, for all the support you guys always show.
Chris is his father. Chris's name is Old Player. You didn't know that.
Was so excited to get back on here and obviously start, getting this show back up and running last week. This is the second episode. We'll be back on Bad Dogs next week, and then we'll have another show in addition to a game the following week. Yes. So really looking forward to all of it. Preseason's right around the corner, and football season is going to be here before you know it. Saturday, we still got a big crowd. You guys are incredible. I thought maybe it would be a deader show. We still had almost 600 people in here.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for all the support you guys always show. We're going to have a lot more to talk about next week. I mean, the pads are going to come on, and we're going to be 3 or 4 days before a preseason game. So next week's show should be even more fun. I'm going to be at training camp. So I got a first-hand experience on Tuesday, and then I'll be at Fan Fest on Friday. So I have a busy week when it comes to the Giants. And then I think I'm going back to training camp on Saturday also, actually. I got day 10. So I'm going to be busy going to the Giants facility over the next 3 days. So be on the lookout for that. Really looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys always show. And, Bad Dog, take us home.
Yeah, number one, the Giants need to start sharing. They need to start sharing the Giants with us up in Albany again. I miss them. No, but you guys and girls, like I said earlier, extremely grateful for all you guys and girls. It's my favorite thing to do. It has been for years. I so bad I want to have a winning season for everybody out there, for all the Giants fans. Just love this team to death, and have just dealt with such just really bad, embarrassing teams. I just want to put that all behind us. I want this team to be good. I want to be able to enjoy. Not that I don't enjoy hanging out with you guys and girls to do, but I want to be able to enjoy the games. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the games because we're winning them. 2020, we were freaking 6-10, but damn, did we have a fun year or what? Because we had a chance. The amount of support you show for a really poor team is unbelievable. And it tells me that's why I always say we're the best fan. I don't care what anybody else says. We don't always agree. We're not going to always agree. We're always going to have different takes. We're going to see things differently, what we feel is best for the Giants through our own eyes. But at the end of the day, we all want the Giants to win. And it shows by all the support you guys and girls always show us, coming to the live streams, hanging out with us during the games, watching the videos. It means the world to us that you would take time out of your day or night to listen to a couple of Italian guys talk about the Giants. Really grateful. Chris, I love doing this. I'm so glad we have it back. I said it last week. I missed you. I missed it for months. I know there wasn't much to talk about. No, we usually take the break, but I'm glad to have it back. I'm glad to be talking Giants football, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to see him in the pads. I'm ready for some preseason football.
It's going to be a fun year, guys. Hopefully with more winning than we've been used to, but we'll see you guys next week. And take care. Have a great Sunday. It's Sunday already because it's 12:15.
Sunday for the Untitled Talkin Sports. Bad Dig Dizzle. Have a good night, buddy. We out. Peace.